This is Bottom of the Bill.
Welcome, everybody. Can't talk today, dude. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Bottom of the Bill. Third time's a charm. I will always say that.
Still waiting for that coffee to kick in from a couple hours ago, or what?
Before we get to today's guest, we are going to do a little introduction. Today, we are joined by Alex Hamby for our weekly catch-up. What's up with that microphone there, dude?
What's going on?
The top. You ruined the pop filter.
You see how the thing comes here and there?
It's broken.
Push it back in. All right, and
All right,
We're live.
we're trying to teach him a lot of things, and
Alex plays drums.
yeah, he
Clearly.
first time I've ever seen him on a microphone was this week. Actually, we're playing in this cabaret band called the Velvet Underground, and we after our first show we went out and got Alex on a microphone for karaoke.
Wait, what did we sing? What was that song?
Highwayman, just a classic country anthem. Highwayman.
How did you do? If you had to rate yourself out of 10, what would you give yourself?
You first, buddy.
Well, I'll just say this. I prefaced it, but because we all split it up, like the verses, but it was like me, Chris, and Jess.
And Jeff.
And
we each took Willie, Waylon, Christopherson, and Cash.
So
Nice.
I had the third verse, and to wrap up how it was, basically right before I started singing, I just prefaced my verse with "I'm a drummer,"
and then went into it.
And then went into it.
Okay,
So
so
like 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10 with a hand. Okay, well, but with a handicap though, so that's not bad.
Yeah, we'll give a plus.
The
2
handicap
for,
being
actually
alcohol.
Jess kind of. Here's the thing. Jess kind of ruined the curve because we showed her that song in the parking lot. We're like, hey, we need a fourth person to be our Waylon Jennings. Do you want to do it? She's like, yeah. What song is it? Highwayman? Never heard it. Great. Can we listen to it? She listened to it and then
Crushes it.
demolished all of us.
Really?
Like, just
Vibrato, everything.
She's
Crushed it.
very talented.
insanely, and
Yeah.
proved that. And so we had a curve going, and she's like the one person that got an A on the final and ruined it for the rest of the class.
Yeah.
Like we were like struggling.
Jeff did good too, though.
Jeff did really good.
He
Actually,
like had like the impersonation. He was doing Willie.
he was doing Willie. He
Yeah.
got the nasally thing going. I of course had Johnny Cash. Who would have guessed?
Yeah, of course.
And I fly a starship across the universe divide
Dude, that was so much fun.
constantly. So yeah, we're teaching Alex many a thing. It's been fun.
Hell yeah. How's the cabaret show going?
Man, it's been going really well.
Good, dude.
So it's funny, and like we started rehearsing for this a little while back, and we started putting it together earlier this week. And just to put it mildly, when we started putting it together in the room, there were problems, and it was a little iffy there for a second. But it's amazing what 48 hours, a strong mindset and some good quality gear will do for you.
In-ears, good in-ear, good packs. It's amazing what that'll do for a show.
Incredibly. One that's, on tracks and guide mics and everything. So in 48 hours, we really turned that show around, and we just did our third show, and we got another one tonight, and it's getting tight. It's just so different from anything else that we're normally doing in our scene right now, and it's a cool challenge just to see if you can do it,
The venue's cool too. Glass Factory, Downtown Jacks.
First time I've done a show
I
there.
still haven't even been there before.
It's sick,
Yeah.
dude.
Are they going to be having regular shows there, or is it just...
So they do. They have and there's no stage. They bring production in and everything.
Oh, okay,
but,
so it's just an event space.
I
totally.
think they mainly do weddings.
A lot
what
of
I've
weddings and events. I've seen like Bold City doing like daytime, bands in a market kind of thing going on.
Okay.
But I know they shoot music videos there. I've seen a lot of metal videos go down shooting in there. Yeah, cool spot. I mean, we're getting about 300 people a show. It's just a cool. It's an experience. You show up, doors open 2 hours early. You get food. There's like a VIP area, bar area.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of
We
mingle.
got food trucks.
Everyone's dressing up like they're in the 20s. Like everyone's coming dressed to the nines. It's super cool.
That's awesome.
So it's a vibe. It's
The only complaint that we're getting, and it's after every show, it's the same complaint, is that it's not longer. Like the show is literally, we did it the first night. We started at 7 and ended at 8 on the dot. And people are just like, why is it so short? It should be longer.
I mean, tickets you said were like $80, right?
Yeah.
80, $85.
Yeah. Is there anything else going on like before or after the show that like
The doors open 2 hours before the show, so it's like, they got the food trucks and they have 2 different bars in the venue where you can come and drink.
okay?
But in terms of like entertainment,
It's us.
It's
now
that's it.
there's no downtime. It is a scripted, essentially automated show. I mean, I'm doing the tracks and I have a couple manual cues, but it really just flows. You are getting a lot in that hour, you know. And it's, dancing, juggling, shooting smoke rings at bottles, and it's just a whole thing.
contortionist is a contortionist.
Yeah,
That's the coolest part.
she's killing it. Yeah, it's a completely different gig.
What's up with the fucking guest list spot, dude?
Alex actually is going to tell us about the guest list.
Guest list?
Yeah, they're not giving out guest lists, but they gave us like discount codes.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was supposed to be on like the down low though.
Well,
Is this airing after the show? The Velvet Show?
it's part of it. Yeah,
He gave out some discount codes to some of us.
we're in the band. It's our discretion. You're not getting a discount code if you're watching this. Don't ask.
Okay, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, don't ask. It's our gig. Buy it off. So no guest list. Sorry, bud.
Okay.
You got $40.
I mean, I do, but I'm not going to spend it on that. But I appreciate the offer.
Anytime. Happy to do it.
He doesn't need to see the show. We just gave him the whole rundown.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say he's going to be too busy learning Larry Carlton tunes for this cool thing he's got coming up.
Oh yeah, dude.
that fucking. First off, before we move on, I would love to come and see the show. I just don't want to spend money to go and see it. That's all.
Right,
It's all good.
It sounds dope though.
It is dope.
And if you're listening, you should go and support the show.
Yeah,
Chris
totally.
is Instagram living it, so maybe no one needs to go. Everybody just watch Chris's
You
Instagram.
get to watch the corner of my base. You need to go see the show. Actually, friend of the show, Miles. I put Miles on the gig, and he
dude.
came and filmed it.
That was cool, man.
So he filmed the opening night, and he's going to film next week as well.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then he might come down to Orlando and film again. So you're going to see some clips of the show, and if you know anything about Miles, it's high quality stuff right
For sure.
there.
Yeah, for sure.
Always.
So that boy's out there doing it.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, that really lobbed you a nice over the plate pitch for that next setup, and you kind of
I know.
swung high at it and really just got an unnecessary strike on that setup.
Well, I wanted to express the fact that I would like to support what you do.
I appreciate that. That's it's all. It's good.
But yeah, I've got this thing on January 8th coming up. We're doing a farewell show. For those who don't know, I'm leaving to LA.
I guess you're announcing it now. It's out in the open. We can talk about it.
Yeah. So this will probably be the last bottom of the bill episode that we air for a while as well. We'll continue.
There's some plans.
Yeah, we got some stuff in the works for next year, but so yeah, we're doing the show January 8th. We got a bunch of people coming out to sit in. I'm not gonna mention the names right now, so I have to kind of keep it under wraps. If you want to see who's gonna be performing that night, you can come to the show and buy tickets. They're at bluejayjacks.com or .net. Is it?
We'll
She's a
add it in
sponsor
the
of
link.
the show.
Yeah,
I should know that.
yeah, that's nice.
.gov.
.gov, yeah.
Blue Jay's the spot, man. That's gonna be fun.
I love Blue Jay, man. I'm happy to be doing it there. I was like playing at Blue Jay early on, and it kind of, when for a while there, it was like a place that I was at like several times a week, and then like I got to do a lot of stuff with Joe Marcinek there, and like just been involved in a lot of stuff that's gone on. And then I kind of took a step back because I got busy with stuff and just wasn't a place that I was able to visit very often. But I've been coming back again with like the jam nights on Mondays and just like going to support. Like I was there for Taylor Roberts' birthday, and I've just been kind of going back and supporting where I can. So it just felt right to do it there. And
Yeah.
now that, like, especially like since 1904 is closed,
Yep.
that was kind of like my home base spot. But I'm like stoked to be doing it at Blue Jay. It's like it's the
Blue Jay's
perfect
the
venue
best.
for it, honestly.
Yeah, it's gonna be heavy
Yeah.
in the best kind of way.
Yeah, and then I'm learning all these tunes because I put together a set list of songs that I've always wanted to play. I did a Jackrabbit show like last month that we played some of these songs, but then I've added new songs, and then Chris is going to be coming to play a little bit too.
Yeah, I'm here. We can.
Yeah.
you know.
So, and he threw a song at me a couple days ago that I've been shedding, I've been shedding, and man, that song is kicking my ass.
It's funny too. When I showed it to him, he's like, "Oh, it's a blues."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I know it, Chris?
You don't, but I'll show it to you later.
Okay.
It is technically a blues, but it's cooking it like, all right, Alex, give me the tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2.
Like 180,
Yeah,
190?
the bitch is moving around 180. That thing is cooking, and the head is just gnarly. So
Yeah.
some Larry Carlton. Won't tell you
Hell
what,
yeah,
but
dude.
that Larry Carlton is one of our dudes. So
Yeah,
it felt
it's-
right to pick that tune and go get hurt by it in public.
Yeah, dude, I don't know how I'm gonna do my best to pull it off. It's a very tricky head to play.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's cool. It's challenging. I'm excited about it. I've got like I'm gonna by far be the worst player in the room, so it'll be good. It'll be a good like challenge to step up to. I think you know what I mean.
It's appropriate for what you're walking into. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's exactly the door you're going to be going through.
Yeah.
You know.
So it'll be bittersweet. Jacksonville's been an awesome home base for a long time. I came here trying to find a community, and I found one. I mean, Jacksonville welcomed me with open arms early on, and allowed me to come in and do my thing. I was able to form bands and do this podcast and do some touring and release albums, and even did a documentary and more stuff in the works that I've started here that I'm going to be putting out in the next few months. So it's it's been an awesome place. And the decision to move is not indicative of negative feelings or energies toward Jacksonville. It's just I'm feeling a pull out west, and that's where I feel like I need to go right now. So,
And that's a good distinction to make too, because people we've had people even on the podcast explain yeah, you get developed in a place, then you leave. You get your personality from a place, but industry is industry at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It's steps need to be made if you want to secure the bag. You know what I mean? And that's just it's time to get that bag.
it just depends on what you want to do, and there's
That's true, too.
And because I don't want to, because it can be, it can come off a certain kind of way when you're saying shit if you want to do X, Y, it's
It's a route to do those
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
It's
it's
not
just-
the route. It's
yeah,
a
yeah.
route to do those things.
It just depends what you want to do, And for me, I'm at a point now where I don't want to start a new project from scratch. I don't have the energy or the desire to be the sole person leading the ship. So, but I do want to get back in the road. I do want to be involved in the creative project. I don't know of a bunch of bands here that are doing stuff like that. I know out west there's every day there's breakout artists coming out and doing stuff. So it seems to be where if you want to be a side guy for right now, like I want to be, then that's where there's also real money to be made too, right?
Totally.
It's I'm not in in my early 20s anymore. I can't be fucking road dogging this shit for pennies. It's not gonna work for me anymore.
Yep.
So,
I get that. We got to get you on. Got to get you on some Ableton stuff, and we got to get you nice and sharp on your 20-year-old tools. Get you the tools of the 20-year-olds and get you out there.
Yeah, dude. That's another thing that's crazy about being out there is all the musicians are so multifaceted in everything that they do. It's just it's crazy. So it'll be a good challenge, it'll be a good environment to be working in. This fucking thing is hitting the wall.
Yeah, dude. I was gonna
pissing me off.
I was so relieved when you moved to the first time, and it has done very little good.
Anton, what part of LA? Do you have a spot picked out?
I'm gonna stay in Hollywood for a month where my sister lives.
Okay.
And then I think I want to move towards the North Hollywood area. So Hollywood's got several municipalities. There's Hollywood, which is its own municipality. You have West Hollywood, which is its own municipality, and then North Hollywood. I don't know if East Hollywood has its own thing, but either way, So North Hollywood is a specific area, like the city that I'd want to live in. It's where like a lot of artists seem to live, musicians, and you know, it's still relatively affordable, and it's, I mean, comparatively speaking, you know, and then it's also like about as centrally located as you can get without being in Hollywood. 'Cause Hollywood's a fucking dump, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I like Hollywood. It's like a cool place to like go and stuff and see, but
Not live.
nah, man.
not the vibe.
Unless you have a lot of money to be in like an area that's, but I don't even know like what part of Hollywood that is. It's not that big of a place, so it's like, it's just so many homeless people. It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Human fucking feces all over the side. I mean, so much of it all over the side. Hollywood's a rough place.
But you've been out there. You've been going out there for, you've been like this past year.
Couple
You've gone out there a
times.
couple times.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you got family out there too. So that's good, dude.
And
I'm
man,
excited for you.
There's a lot
Thanks,
of
man.
there's a lot of Jack's homies out there that
Yeah.
have gone there over the years, and friends from South Florida. You know, like
Yeah.
there's a community out there kind of waiting, almost more so than when you came here. You know.
I definitely know more people out there than I did here when I came here. I don't think I knew anybody in the scene when I came here.
Yeah, it was just like break in and get to work.
Isn't
Yeah.
Kat Hall's out there, isn't she?
Cat Hall's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we could list them all off. They're
Yeah.
they're out there working. You
Yeah.
know, they're crushing. Yeah, I'm curious.
Is it Kat Dyson also?
You're
Something Dyson,
you're maybe.
right?
I think you're thinking of the guitar player for Kamani,
No. It's just a Jacksonville singer.
Cat Hall.
Is that her name?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's at least
Reggae.
At least
No,
our
no.
artist name.
Not reggae. It's a different thing.
Different cat.
Yeah.
Cool.
So anyways,
Yeah, keep us afoot. I'm curious. You're gonna have to let me know.
and then Jake Biller's out there.
Yeah.
Liston, Jose. I mean, there's a lot of people doing
Yeah.
stuff. So, you know, it's exciting. It's scary. There's certainly a barrier to entry at a lot of those places. You know, it's hard to like just get up and be able to play. So just like going and talking to people and just keep showing up, and then, you know, hopefully bring whatever it is that you do to the table, and hopefully it works. You know, I mean, there's just like the talent out there. It's not that people are like more talented. It's just that like there's so many more people, and everyone's trying to like be like get these opportunities that are high stakes. So like everybody is like that good, you know. So
Yeah.
it's just like
That's awesome. Though. I love environments like that. Just hyper competitive. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that'll make you good, dude.
It's been making me. I've been practicing all the time because it's just like I have to step my game up if I'm going to go there. It's got to happen.
Yeah.
Is the part of the town of LA that you're moving to, is there like a specific like music scene? Like, is there a genre? You know, like if you go to a certain part of Jacksonville, there's a specific genre scene that we would be associated with it.
Yeah, so there's a lot, like, because LA is so big, so like there's all these different pockets of where different things work, right? So Hollywood seems to be more of like the pop and kind of R&B, which leads into like neo soul and that kind of stuff, and that's a lot of what's like North Hollywood also. That whole little area's got a lot of that. But then if you go to like Venice, that's like a lot of jam bands and more of that kind of thing. Cool. So you know, and then there's different parts where like hip hop thrives, and there's parts where there's more like jazz gigs, and
So it's just a big melting pot fusion.
yeah, I mean, and then there's like so many people in each scene and so many places to do all these things that like, it's not like here where it's like, okay, well, in the jazz scene, you got like Stefan Klein and you got Stan Piper, right? And then in the jam scene, you have like, you know, Honig or like us, and then in like the blues scene, you know, like you got Jack and you got Dylan Adams. Like everyone knows everybody from the different scenes here, right? But out there, it's like, it's not necessarily like that.
Yeah.
It's not that there isn't any crossover. There's just so many people in each scene where you're like, I don't know, dude, I got enough to worry about in my scene right now, you know?
Yeah,
So,
man.
That's cool.
And it's gotta like it just going out there swinging as hard as humanly possible is the key, you know. And it's like you've been setting yourself up to do that here, and like finding ways to challenge yourself, and like the resume you've built even here that goes with you is you know,
carry that with you.
is notable. You know, it's like between the road stuff, documentaries, records, tunes. I mean, it's like it's a force to reckon with. You go out there and with the same mentality, it's just that's how it goes. You know,
Yeah.
you have to have that mentality out there. So it's cool to see.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, we'll see what happens. I'm excited for sure.
We'll see you back next year. I'm just kidding.
I'll for sure be visiting. I mean,
yeah. I mean, Jacksonville
there's-
became home to, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I love Jacksonville. Like, I love my friends here, the musicians, the scene. Like, I think that there's so much talent here and a lot of good people. And like I said, it's been a great scene to me, and I will for sure be coming back to be doing stuff, you know.
Yeah, when your artist routes a tour through here.
Yeah.
Yep. Just book a couple days off when you come through. Just because you'll be MDing, you'll be running the show. So just be like, all right, I'm gonna put in a good word. Let the people see the sights of Jacksonville. You
Yeah.
know, take them to the Matthews Bridge. You know. Yeah, man.
Fuck yeah, dude. Go take him to the west side.
Come on.
Like at Orange Park.
You guys
Go
want to
pee.
dodge bullets? What's some fun tour activities? Well, we like to go eat at the restaurants. We like to see the beach, and we like to participate in drive-bys.
Yeah.
And if anyone's acting up, drop them off on Moncrief and leave.
Yeah, I was about to say, take it to Moncrief, bro. Go to Moncrief.
Christ,
Have a
dude.
time.
When we were recording our last album, the owner of the studio, he like bought, you know, he like buys up properties and then renovates and then, you know, rents them out or whatever. So he lives in South Florida though. So he was looking at some properties in Jacksonville and he was like, hey man, I need you to go, here's a list of properties. I'll give you a discount on studio time if you can just go and scope them out, take pictures, you know, that kind of stuff. Let me know how they look. I was like, okay. And so he sent me a list and a few of them were like in Moncrief. And I was like, hey man, I'm not going to these places. He was like, no, it's fine. I go to the hood all the time. Like people, they actually like it when you let them know that their house is being foreclosed on or something. Like,
Yo.
because that's the thing that you don't, that
The
they
most South Florida shit I've ever heard in my life.
because that's because like that's the thing that they don't tell you that he didn't tell me was like a lot of these people that are living in those homes are renting them and don't know that the owner is has been foreclosed on, right? So you have to show up and take pictures and like, hey, why are you taking pictures of my house? And then you're like, oh, it's being foreclosed on. And then they're like, what? And like nobody's.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And that you're qualified for
Yeah,
that.
and
You're
I'm qualified
You're like,
to
I
do
play
that.
guitar, dude.
There was one house I went to in Murray Hill. The lady chased me off the property. She's like, why are you taking pictures of my house? I was like, that's what I was told to do. She fucking chased my ass. I got in the car and I dipped out, dude. I was like,
Damn it.
So anyways, I was driving through Moncrief one day. It's like fucking noon and like it's like all these kids are outside running around. I'm like, dude, I'm not getting out of this fucking car. Like, you're crazy. Like,
I'll add one to you. I was over COVID. We were all broke and no one was gigging and working. So we all found a means to an end. And one of my means to an end was about 2 weeks driving DoorDash. And I got an order for some restaurant up on Moncrief. And I got, you know, it's just like you get in a headset, you put in some music, you go, you pick it up, you go, you pick it, and you're in a flow. So I'm just flowing and I walk into this restaurant, not paying attention. I go to get the order and the cashier goes, please be careful. And I was like, it's not, I was like, oh shit, yeah.
Please be careful.
And I walk back outside, just kind of like ducking down. I like sneak into the car and I'm like, I'm not taking any more of these orders, man. Like,
my God.
I was warned, you know, I was the only white dude in sight for a couple of miles. It was just like, all right, and I'm leaving now.
Yeah, I don't think DoorDash insurance covers that.
it's just one of those things, dude. Delivery guys are targets too, like big time.
Yeah, I had a literal giant red bag.
Yeah.
So,
In South Florida, I had friends that would do that. They would like order food and then like hide and wait for the delivery guy to come, and then they just fucking pop out and like, you know, guns, or like sometimes they would just be like big dudes and just fucking take their shit. You know what I mean?
Welcome to America.
You get their cash and you get the food, and then like, you know, it's fucking wild shit, dude.
Jeez.
So delivery people are like hardcore targets.
yeah.
And they know that now, so that's why you always see, like, if you're ordering online, our delivery drivers don't carry any more than $20 in cash.
Yeah.
That's why you see that, because they get jacked all the time.
Yeah.
I don't blame
So-
them.
Those people that are robbing them definitely have internet access. You know? like,
Right.
yeah.
All right. Well, we should get to today's
I
guest.
suppose so.
Babe Honey was on the podcast this week, and it was an awesome podcast. I've never met her before, so it was super cool to get to pick her brain on some stuff. I love the music that she's putting out. It's fucking dope. It's so well produced and really well written songs. I think she's super talented. So I'm stoked that we're able to get her on and close out the show with her. So keep a lookout. She's got a bunch of new music coming out, new singles. I think a new album coming out next year, she was saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep a lookout for all that stuff. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Help us get the word out. I guess at this point it doesn't really,
Not. You are such a interesting little chipmunk, aren't you? Keep an eye out.
Keep an eye out. Yeah.
You know
so
what
we
I
got
mean?
more stuff in the works. We're not done.
You never know. Your page might have a new name. It might not have a new name. Just keep an eye out is all we're saying.
We're not done, but enjoy the episode. Let us know what you think, guys.
There we go.
Peace out.
This is good. Hold on. One more. Perfect.
Desi, thank you so much for being here today. We've been talking now for like 20 minutes, so it always feels weird like doing these intros after we've already established a conversation and a bit of a rapport. So anyways, thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
We've been trying to make it happen for a little while now.
I know.
But now you got stuff to promote, so let's talk about it.
That's why I'm here.
for all of our viewers and fans to listen to your new music. So what you've been working on?
I've been working on songs that have been written for a little while, but the latest song, Thank You, Dean, that was just released, I actually wrote this year. I wrote it in the springtime, and it's already released. And the next song that's coming out, I wrote last year. And yeah, I'm really excited to finally be getting these songs out. I've been like holding them just all to myself and wanting them to be perfect, but alleviating some of that pressure gets them out. And I found a really cool team to work with and a really great studio to work with as well, and that's Ben McLeod. He started a studio, it's BRM Studios in St. Augustine.
Okay.
And he actually took hold of the old Slugs pub and turned it into a really cool space to work from.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So the new single sounds great, by the way. I'm also a big fan of Pool Party. I really like that song a lot. But Thank You, Dean, I like as well, because there's who you mentioned earlier, who played lap steel on that?
That's Jeremy Blanton.
Jeremy Blanton from
Yep.
Dean Winter.
Mm-hmm.
Really well done. And then the acoustic guitar work is really great too. There's like just little like kind of melody lines that he's playing that are like really well done. So I'm a big fan of the song.
Cool.
Yeah. So what else? How many songs do you currently have? Are you planning on releasing like a full album or an EP or just singles?
I plan on releasing a couple more singles, and then I'd love to release an EP next summer. But we've got another one coming out in January, and then early spring, probably like a third, or I guess that would be the fourth single. And then in the works for an EP, I'm actually going to do something different where I'm going to record it on a reel-to-reel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm really obsessed with the reel-to-reel right now.
What's the obsession?
The process in general. There's something a little bit more sterile about recording your songs in a studio versus just like a beautiful film tape, like reel-to-reel. From the 70s, and the sound of it, and then we're doing like a room mic, so it just captures like every breath, every noise. That ear trumpet, I think it's they're ear trumpet mics.
Trumpet, okay.
They're a beautiful mic, but it captures everything. And then the tape that a lot of people nowadays, I feel like in the indie scene, try to pull off artificially.
Yeah, there's like plugins and stuff that people buy,
like cool effects. But the reel-to-reel kind of already provides that, which is pretty cool.
It's a lot more expensive though.
Yeah.
But
it's more of an art to me for a way to. There's certain songs that I want to do on the reel-to-reel. They're a little bit softer. They're more acoustic, and those aren't even songs that I've performed live before. But yeah, there's about 3 to 4 songs I'd like to produce on a reel-to-reel, and I would like to release like a little EP of songs recorded on a reel-to-reel live.
So just you want to do like a whole separate EP just for that batch of tunes? That's cool. I was curious if you're going to do them together, about like the difference in sound and just production value, I guess. But that's pretty dope to be able to do it. How many songs are you going to do that way?
Probably like 3 to 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who are you working with? Are the same people that you've been working with?
No, Corey Kilgannon. He has acquired a really cool reel-to-reel. And when I saw it and then heard, I got to hit record one day for him, and he was playing one of his originals on it, and just the sound when we hit the playback, I was like, oh, I gotta get in on this. So I ordered a tape, and then just that whole process too. I love all the details, like ordering the tape and it being on a physical tape. It just seems really cool. Just outside of the digital world,
Yeah.
a little bit, just reeling it back, rewinding the time a little bit,
Yeah.
and doing it on tape. Just like a physical format seems neat.
Yeah, it's like the same, like a similar analogy to like, listening to vinyls and records.
Yeah.
Like there's we were just talking about it on the last podcast where it's like, just simply it being available on vinyl, and like it makes the listener more invested because you have to go and buy it, and then you have to open it up, you look at the credits, you put it on, and then like you have to be actively listening because when it's over, you have to go and turn it over. So it's just the whole thing is so much more of an investment.
Yeah.
So I would imagine it's a similar feeling when you're doing like tape recording.
Yeah, and the active listening, I agree with that. That's a very special thing too, and I think that's hard with attention spans today. So to really slow it down and do a process that's just more old school and really hands-on versus just like click of a button, erase, delete, like re-record. You can record a million times, where if you keep recording on the tape, it'll get thin.
Right.
But I mean, the Beach Boys, they would just rip through tapes. I mean, they would layer, and the tape would get thin. But yeah, I think it's a fun way to record live too. And I always prefer to record live.
Yeah.
I have to record live with the band, even for in the studio. So
What about recording live do you like versus doing like track by track?
yeah, I just feel like it maintains the magic a little bit more, and like the cohesiveness of like the band playing together. I think there's like an overall feeling when you're playing live versus like track by track. That's the part that feels a little sterile to me.
Yeah. Do you guys play to a click when you're doing live recordings? Okay.
Yeah.
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 I've met people that don't do that with live recordings, and it's like
I can't. I have a hard time with it.
Really?
But the band will. And then, it's usually, I don't record final vocals until after.
Okay.
So I'll be singing and playing live with them when they're all recording, and then I'll record a final vocal as well.
Cool.
But even in rehearsals, my drummer, he plays to a click. So we're always kind of playing to a click.
Yeah.
Even if we don't know it, he's got it in his ear.
That's good. That's
yeah.
awesome.
So it's just like consistent muscle memory.
Yeah.
Every time.
For sure.
Yeah.
So who is playing in your band right now?
Right now, I have Mike Monahan on drums, and I have Steven Rose on bass, and for this next show, I have Kevin Pekin on lead guitar.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, bunch of rock stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve is so funny, man. I saw him last time. He's like, I just want to be a guitar player, dude. He just can't stop getting bass gigs.
I know.
He's so full of shit. That's so funny. He loves playing bass.
Yeah, of course. I think he loves playing music in general, but it's funny, like when it's just funny. I get that feel. Like I know that feeling. I don't play bass. I'm terrible at it, but like I know what it's like to be doing. Like you want to be doing one thing, but like people know you as this other thing, so you keep getting called for that thing.
Right.
But he's a great bass player.
Oh yeah, he's incredible, and he's an incredible guitarist as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But man, I love him on bass. He kind of plays bass like he plays guitar.
Yeah.
Which is wicked. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's one of the songs that we perform. It's called Golden Her, and that's the next song that I'll be releasing in January. And when we play it live, he actually does a bass solo.
Nice.
It's beautiful. It's really cool.
So how involved in the writing process is the band, or do you just kind of bringing tunes to them?
I had to bring tunes to them. A lot of these songs that we play live, a few of them are songs that I wrote while I was living in my van. So a lot of them are kind of inspired by those travels and those emotions. So they've already, existed long before the band that I formed here in Jacksonville. But as arranging goes, we usually do arrangements together.
Okay.
So any extra arranging outside of the lyrics and the melody, that's with the band.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you say you lived in a van?
Yeah, I lived in a van in 2020.
Just kind of like traveling around? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I traveled across the country in the van. I was in Colorado for a little while. Wrote a few songs there. Also wrote a song in Kansas in a Walmart parking lot.
Nice.
It's called Chocolate Chip Pancakes. And I wrote a lot of songs while I was out in California, Pool Party being one of them.
Okay.
I wrote
appropriate.
that song at my favorite surf break in Encinitas. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so how long were you, just for the 1 year?
Just like 5 months.
5 months. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you from Jacksonville originally?
I'm from Maryland originally.
Really? Mm-hmm. How long you been in Jax for?
Well, I've been in Florida for about 7 years now. I moved to South Florida, to Delray Beach,
Okay.
from Maryland years ago. I loved that, and then I kind of got priced out. There was influxes everywhere
Yeah.
throughout the country, but there's something about Delray Beach. They knocked down a lot of the original 1920s cottages that year and and then I moved here last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how are you finding the scene here versus like other places?
It was already always a second home to me. I would come up here to surf and play music a lot. So for a couple of years, then I used to play at Hotel Palms like every month. I don't know if you know
I'm aware
Hotel
of it.
Palms
Yeah.
in Atlantic Beach.
Yeah.
So I've always had friends up here. So moving here wasn't like this crazy transition. It was a lifestyle change a bit, but it wasn't. It already felt so safe and like home. And then I was so excited to be a part of the music community here. It's a strong one.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
Yeah, there's not, I mean, I feel like Delray is not like a great scene. I'm from South Florida also. So not Palm Beach. I'm from like Broward, like Pembroke Pines area.
Okay.
So I was like back and forth between Miami and Fort Lauderdale a lot. And then when I got older, I was like hitting like just Palm Beach because that's where like the band leader at that time lived, and then we just toured and stuff. But it was always like getting out of South Florida was the
yeah.
move. Miami's got a cool little scene, but like no one ever gets out of there because it's just like there's just kind of this little ecosystem that exists down there. And then they don't even leave Dade County. They just stay right in Miami. And then Broward and Palm Beach have their own little thing going on. But it's just, I don't know. I found it so hard to find like original music outside of Miami. You know?
Unless it's like reggae.
Yeah, lots of reggae. They had
Yeah.
this band called Fourth Dimension that played at Fat Cats in Fort Lauderdale for like, I mean, every Wednesday for like 20 years. I mean, I used to go and see them when I was in high school, and they still had that residency up until I left. I think they might still have it. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of reggae there.
Oh yeah, and geographically, it's so unrealistic to be a band who wants to tour
Yeah, totally.
to be in South Florida.
Yeah.
And then the demand for original music almost does not exist.
Yeah, definitely.
Does not exist.
And the
So-
price of living is just, it's insane. I mean, so I just trying to survive and then be an artist in South Florida where it's just like void of any real like creative culture.
Right.
I'm excluding Miami from that because Miami is a very creative culture. It's just, for some reason, it just doesn't
Yeah.
go beyond a little buzz. I don't know. Miami's an anomaly to me.
Yeah,
the
that's
rest
its own,
yeah.
its own country.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But Broward and Palm Beach, holy shit. I mean, just strip malls and just void of any real like
Yeah,
culture.
when I moved to South Florida, even from Maryland, I was kind of like, it's all very like plastic. Like,
Yeah.
it's South Florida culture almost reminds me of like, I know it's different than LA, but like a little bit of that, like, it's just like, it's new. It's just so new.
So new. That's what it is. Yeah.
And I'm used to, you know, being close to New York and just some culture.
Yeah.
And I don't know, so it was interesting. And then, you know, in the strip malls, everything's from like the 80s.
Yeah.
That was the rise.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally, like
Yeah.
it was like swamp and like old retirement Jewish communities, and then the cocaine cowboys happened, and it was
Yeah.
like, I guess we're just gonna start building massive skyscrapers everywhere now. And then from like Miami all the way to Palm Beach, it was just the beaches are just like these crazy resort towns. I don't know,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just kind of wild.
Yeah.
So,
Unless it turns into some like weird cinematic, like rage city, like kind of like what happened to Atlanta.
yeah.
You know, I mean, the movie scene hit Atlanta hard. So I feel like the creative scene in Atlanta like also skyrocketed.
Yeah, anywhere that the film thrives,
Mm-hmm.
like there's just gonna be like music will subsequently do
Yeah.
well also, and just really the creative industries across the board do well, like fashion and everything
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
revolves around it, you know. So that's why New York and LA and
Yeah.
you know, now Nashville has got really predominantly music, but I think entertainment does well there, and then Atlanta
Yeah.
so it's just like
They just need to make their way to South Florida.
to Florida in general would be
Florida.
great. Like, because like Jacksonville, I love Jacksonville, and you know it's a great like community here. Certainly more susceptible to original music than I found in South Florida. But it'd be cool for bands to have more like opportunity. Like there was some infrastructure like that exists in LA or New York.
Yeah.
You know, because we were just talking about it earlier. People just get tired and like jaded.
Oh, yeah.
And then you just succumb to the cover band life because that's what
Yeah.
survives here, you know?
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer for sure. So it's really focusing on like doing shows out of town.
Right.
That's where I'm at now. I'm definitely at a point where I'm like, more music out. More music must be out and about so we can hit the road and support it.
Do you have any markets that you're excited to hit or that you're like thinking about?
I mean, I know it's a leap to California, but I have a lot of plays there, a lot of listeners there. But regionally, I really just want to do some East Coast legs to get started.
Yeah.
That's a big thing to me. So hopefully in March we can really lock that in. We may start in the Asheville area, work our way around North Carolina, Virginia, and then Charleston's a big one for us. So.
Charleston's a great town.
Charleston's such a great city.
Yeah.
They love music.
Yeah.
And they love really good food.
Yeah. And there's actually a blossoming film industry happening there too. It was Danny McBride and that whole crew of people just moved out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Of course.
They moved out there during COVID, and now they've been producing like movies and stuff, and they're actually doing, you know, it's the same issue with Atlanta. It's like there's film there, but they're casting out of LA and New York still, but they are hiring local people for like production stuff, and I would imagine some more like lower level casting stuff too. So like, I'm excited to see what happens to Charleston also. It really is such a cool city.
Mm-hmm. And it's right there for us.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of bands from Jacksonville play there and it'd be extremely successful.
Mm-hmm.
The people are all like, they're thirsty for the music. They're
Yeah.
thirsty for original music that they've never even heard before.
Yep.
It's very inspiring to go there, especially to start a tour there. You can just like,
Yeah. It opens
that'll
up.
get you pumped up.
Yeah, we played at the Poorhouse last year, Charleston Poorhouse, and that's such a great venue.
Yeah.
And again, people were just like receptive.
Mm-hmm.
We were like two bands that were kind of on. I mean, it was our first time in the market, and the other band had done a couple plays, but there was just a bunch of people that showed up just to see some music. So
Yeah. I wanna
it was
play
cool.
there. That
Yeah.
sounds cool. People
Yeah.
love the Poorhouse.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the best place to see music in Charleston. I feel like there's some other places, but it's a really
Yeah.
cool city, and the food culture there is amazing.
You can't go there and not eat.
I know.
It's so good. I love the Royal American.
That's the other place I was
Oh
thinking
my
of. I was like, what's
gosh.
the other
that
spot
little
there?
stage, I'll never forget though. The first time I saw that little stage, the first time I played there, I was like, how?
Yeah.
And then we did it. we all like crammed up on this little stage that's basically the bar.
Yeah.
Is the bar?
Yeah.
But it's such a great turnout, like walking people just like foot traffic in too.
Is that there like on King Street?
I think so.
Okay. It's like down.
Aren't
like,
we on King Street?
No.
I'm just kidding.
You're so confused, dude.
Where are we?
We're in Charleston. Surprise.
We're actually in Charleston
Yeah.
right now.
We make the 3.5-hour trek every week to do the podcast in Charleston.
The real estate is just so good. We have to go up there and do it, you know?
Not to mention those amazing South Carolina state taxes. Fuck yeah, dude. So Charleston, Asheville, those are the places that you kind of want to try and target.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And New York. I want to play in New York.
Yeah, I mean, New York is like the Mecca, I feel like. I fucking love that city, dude. It's like the coolest place.
I haven't been since before 2020, and I'm like scared because I'm like, how different is it going to be?
So I was there in February, and that was my first time going as an adult.
Yeah.
And I thought it was amazing. However, the locals that I was talking to all say that it's kind of lost some of its flair and magic. There's not as many people out, and you know, crime has gone up and everything. But I feel, I don't know, I was walking around and I was just, I fucking love big cities.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing I do miss about South Florida, is being so close to Miami.
You can like pick and choose like if you want to be like really urban or not.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah. And so just walking around New York, I'm like, holy shit, this is like the greatest city in the world.
Yeah.
So much music, so much just everything happening all the time. Food. There's this place that I go to. I'm a huge fan of like comedy and like just that whole scene. And so there's a place called Joey Rose's that's like owned by a comedian. So I went there and had like one of their, it's like a sub shop, but like the bread is what they brag about, and it's like an $8 sub. I mean, it's all like super good.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with that place. The vibe was awesome. The bartenders were super cool. The food was so good. And then I just went there like 3 days. I was there for a week. I went to that spot for 3 days in a row and just got like very drunk and just shoved food in my face for like hours just talking to people. It was so cool.
Oh man, I miss New York. I've spent a lot of time there, and I've always dreamed about playing music there, even in the tiniest of venues. Like, give me something intimate, you know?
Yeah.
But I definitely really want to play there, and I just want to be there in general.
The energy is,
it's, and the diversity in a big city like that is so rich.
Yeah.
You know? There's
something also that I realized about that saying, like a New York minute, where it's like very real in like a very literal sense.
Yeah.
It's like everyone is using the subway, right? So it's like, and if you're a minute late, that sets you like an hour back because you got to wait for the next for the next train, and it's like it's a whole thing. So it's just like there's this mentality of like, yeah, we're all in this together. We're all relying on this thing. We all have an etiquette to an extent because we know that we're relying on this thing. And when you come and disrupt the ecosystem, you become a real problem for the rest of us. You know what I mean? I love that. That's why there's so like, the attitude is there, but like they're mostly, as a culture, it's a caring city.
Yeah.
It's just like, stay out of my fucking way.
Yeah.
You know?
I can't stand that you've already adopted us as referring to New York. You gotta get out of here.
I was saying like
Our
as
ecosystem.
Don't bother us. Get out of our way. This is my subway car, dude.
I was
Goes for 1 week and you're king in New York. Get out of here, Andrew Schultz. Get off my block.
I know the best subs.
I know a guy named Joey DeRosa. He's got real good bread.
Yeah. All right, dude. So yeah, it's a cool city. And obviously I've adopted it as my own. So how close were you to New York?
Pretty close. I used to sometimes, I skipped school a lot in high school, and just go into the city. So I was on the eastern shore of Maryland. So it was like a quick jump through like Philly, Jersey, and then you're in New York. It's all, I don't think people realize how relative it all is right there.
Yeah.
It's pretty like tight. So you can get there in like 2.5 hours.
Okay.
You know, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Especially if you're driving as fast as everybody else on the Jersey Turnpike.
Yeah, it's
but yeah, so I was close. I spent a lot of time there. Even was a total daredevil and would go in for the holiday season.
Really?
I mean, it's like, it's New York during Christmas, you know?
Yeah, it's all lit up and
Yeah.
yeah, I can imagine.
So, that's why, like, because I've spent so much time there, like, now after 2020, I'm worried about that, like, that charm and that, like, spirit being a little bit different. As to everything, though, and such is life, everything evolves and changes. That there's just some things that you turn to for comfort, and it's a chaotic city.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely is.
I don't know, you know, because I'm from a very, like, rural area. So, like, lots of farmland. I'm from a island of watermen, like oystermen and,
Okay.
you know,
Very blue collar.
blue crabby, like,
Yeah.
just like, yeah, very chill. So I would just like crave to like go into the city sometimes to just see like what was, you know, out in that world versus, I guess you could call it like a Little Mermaid moment, you know.
Okay, yeah.
Just wanted to be part of that world sometimes, and versus the really slow 4 stoplight town world,
Yeah.
you know. But now that I'm like grown, I'm like, that's all I want.
Yeah.
Slow it down.
Definitely.
We visit the city and then we leave.
Right, right. Yeah, definitely feel that. I still love the chaos of a city. I was in LA like last month, and I love that shit too. It's
I
like,
have skirted around LA. I've never penetrated LA.
it's
I just can't go in there. Wrong term for that. Can you cut that out? I hate that I use that word. It's almost as bad as moist.
what is it with people in moist?
I don't know. All I think about is cookies. So.
Okay. I fucking love cookies, dude. It's a real problem.
Yeah.
I eat so many cookies.
I had 3 or 4 last night.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what kind of cookies?
They were actually gluten-free lemon Tate's cookies. Also, why are they called Tate's?
Like, is that the company that makes them? Like Tate's cookies, like the ones that come in like the little paper thing.
Yep.
I thought you were gonna say chocolate chip or something, but you had to go like the
four
gluten-free
different
route.
names.
Well, the night before I had brownies.
Okay.
They were very dense and fudgy, and I added additional chocolate to it.
Oh my god, that's
I don't know why I'm looking at Chris. Are you? Yeah, you
I-
like that?
I can't even look at you. Okay, don't stop.
He was over there like Stevie Wonder.
I can't concentrate on my job if you keep talking about brownies, dude.
okay. I don't know how we got off on this tangent, but
We're hungry.
yeah,
I want a sandwich with good bread.
yeah. So I know a place. Funny you should mention.
Far.
Have you thought about relocating at all? I mean, obviously you've relocated several times. But like,
I want to see what the next 2 to 3 years feels as like a hub here. Like just this being home base and touring from here, I do believe is a great place to tour from. But as of recently, I have like thought about what it would be like submersing myself in a different city. And I know I've only been here for a year, but and I'm like just like immersing myself in another music community and forming a band elsewhere, and versus to continue to invest my time here with these musicians. I mean, there's so many talented people here.
yeah,
There are so many talented people here, and everybody needs to know that. Right?
I mean, I agree. That's why we do this podcast, is to try and like
Whoa.
give people give the world some awareness that there's like a thriving. I don't know if thriving is the right word, but there's a scene here that like, and there's a thirst for people from musicians to like be creative and do cool things and put their stamp on music, and it's just, there just needs to be some like acknowledgement,
Like something right in the city.
yeah,
And that's where I struggle. Is like they're not really implementing these original music bands here.
right,
All of the thriving bands that are original music are touring.
right,
But they live here,
right,
but they're not playing here often,
yeah,
to maintain their success and to continue succeeding. They have to play outside of the city.
right,
So it'd be a really beautiful thing to experience it more so here. but it's the culture here. People want to hear.
That's kind of a funny thing
Sad
too.
rock band.
It's like, you know, I just kind of put this together. It's like you've got all these like stand-up comedy and stuff. They have their cities or their home bases, like where they work stuff out. Like Austin's a big one, and like they play a ton in their city, and then they'll tour. And I feel like Jacksonville specifically, or music, it's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Like you go out and do your stuff, and then you come home and maybe do one thing, and it's a weird. I don't know. It's kind of a bummer that that's the one that happens for us. You've got to travel across the country just to get your stuff worked out.
Yeah, and there was a band that came through town that played at the Blue Jay listening room recently, and they're like, Austin. They're from Austin, and they're just like, Austin, Texas. You would love it. To someone else, and I'm like, me too. Like, you know, but it's landlocked. Struggle with that
Yeah.
personally, but maybe not.
It is super nice. Have you ever got to go out there?
I've never been. I've driven around Austin and past it, and maybe because I know if
Yeah.
I experience it, I'll stay.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Like I got to go out there once and like kind of network and do some music stuff, and it was just like everything you want Jacksonville to be, Austin is. Like it's kind of got that
Alright, guys, I'm
medium,
pleasing.
medium city vibe, and
Yeah.
the music's so freaking good,
Yeah.
and everyone's just chilling. But it's not, you know, oversaturated like a Nashville or LA, or it's just like they got it figured out. So if we could just take notes as a city, that
Yeah.
would be pretty cool, you know.
So you're saying don't leave.
Don't
fight for it
leave.
here.
Just everything they're doing, let's copy and steal it. It's not stealing, it's creativity.
All right, how about we copy and paste
you
it?
can borrow.
Yeah.
Steal.
It's just borrowing.
I think part of what Austin has going for it also is that it's been a music city for a very long time. And even before like the internet was blowing it up as a music city, it was known as the music capital of the country, of the world. That's how they brand themselves. So now it's like getting more people moving there for different reasons, and music being a part of it. So the population's growing, and then like that's a big part of it too, is just population size. Like how spread out is your city? Like Jacksonville is so spread out, and there's less than 1 million people here. So like if you factor in whatever the average number of a city's population that goes out to support the arts, you know, in bigger cities it works because there's so many people. But like in smaller cities it's harder because, you know, there's a mindset or a lifestyle that kind of permeates, and then there's like the small subculture that kind of comes out of that, and that's usually what's supporting the arts. But there just doesn't seem to be enough of it here right now. Not to say that it can't get there, but then you start to think like, well, you know, places like Austin and like New Orleans and other cities that have this title, they aren't necessarily industry cities like LA or New York or Nashville,
Right.
but they have these bustling music scenes. Like, does there need to be another one? Can there be another one? Or do you just go to Austin or New Orleans? Right. So I don't know. And it's like, it's just those things that you wrestle with as an artist trying to figure out and create a career for yourself,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Because like Jax is a great place. There's a lot of great musicians. It's affordable to live here. You have I-10 taking you west. You have 95 taking you north and south. So it's like it's a great location for touring. But it's just like, holy shit, how do you get people to support you in this town?
It right here.
Yeah.
And that's definitely it's an obstacle for sure. And it's expensive to tour. It's not easy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary. Thinking about going on the road in March, and I'm like, you know, you like strive for that, and as you're like locking stuff in, you're like, wait, am I going to be able to afford this?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple schools of thoughts on that, right? It's like you get funding somehow, which
Yeah.
is another hard part here. You don't have labels on the ground that are they're not willing but able to. Even the labels here are small, and like they don't have a lot behind them. So you try and get funding for it in advance, you know, sponsors, whatever, or you like just book the tour and then figure out realistically what your expenses are going to be, and then try and raise the money.
Yeah.
By, you know, what Side Hustle played bar gigs to raise money, and you know we did other things, live streaming stuff to try and get creative with it. But like, that's a grind too, because then you gotta like play these cover gigs with the band night after night after night just to save
Yeah.
money to go on tour, and it's just like, and then you deplete your worth in the market.
Right.
So it's like this
The
catch
cover gig
22.
thing is a funny thing for sure, and I've stopped doing cover gigs as much because I did it for 5.5 years. That's how long I've been doing the music full time, and it was also tougher up here because the demand, money is a little bit different in the city versus South Florida. I mean, it's just money flying everywhere.
Yeah, totally.
So cover gigs, you make a lot more. But here I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not enough to feed myself.
Yeah.
But I mean, also just not only like creatively draining, especially if you're doing them alone. If you're sharing them with a bandmate, I'm learning now. I'm like, oh, this is way more fun
Definitely
than
is.
doing 3 to 4 hours by myself. I'm like, no way am I doing that anymore. You know, I'll do that occasionally. But also having to promote yourself for 3 to 4 hour gigs, and then you want to do a show in a city that doesn't naturally have a demand for original music, after you've been deluding yourself.
It's like the hardest catch 22 to try and like solve, you know. And then you wonder why people leave, because you're like, I mean, I get it, dude. You know, you get to a point where you're just like, I'm tired of doing this shit. It's creatively not even just unfulfilling, but it's detrimental to the creative process. You lose it playing at, you know, whatever, I'm not going to name places, but just doing those 4-hour gigs by yourself where they just want to hear Wagon Wheel.
Yeah.
And you're just like
playing Hotel California to people eating spaghetti.
Yeah.
This is it. I made it.
Yeah.
I made it.
I had somebody one time, she goes like, well, what's your favorite song to play? And I go like, probably a song that I wrote. And she was like, I like covers though. And I was like, are you serious? Or you couldn't even like...
She's so serious.
I was like, you couldn't even like pretend to entertain me for a second. I'm sitting here.
4 minutes of your day.
I know.
That's all it would have taken.
I know.
4 minutes of your day to just be like, oh, cool, play it. And then shut the fuck up.
I was like, no. Dude, I've been sitting here entertaining you for fucking 3 hours. Like,
No. Dance monkey.
Yeah. That's literally what it is, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, and then it's like, well, why am I writing music? Why am I practicing? Why am I trying to do anything? It's like,
Yeah.
So I get why people leave, you know. It's
you get like your last straw. I was playing at a bar at the beach.
Yeah.
And
Which one?
there was like, I can't tell you Monkey. And there was like a group, like a whole table of like military dudes, like Navy and Marines or whatever. And they were like, don't you know any country music? And then they got like drunker and drunker. And they were like, you look like you need a nacho. And we're like trying to give me nachos while I'm singing songs. And I'm like, fuck this. I'm done.
Oh my God.
I'm like, I literally felt like a monkey at a zoo. They're like, nacho, monkey, eat nacho. Play Miranda Lambert.
And that it kills me. It's like, what about what you're playing screams Miranda Lambert?
Dude,
you know, that's
it's because I had boots on. You know, I like to wear the Western boots. So they're like, you wear boots like that and you don't know any country songs? I'm like,
it's called fashion, sweetie. Look it up.
it's Western boots.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I can't expect those Mayport Navy guys to have any nuance whatsoever. So
Yeah. So I was just like, I definitely don't want to play in like loud, large bars anymore. And you know, unless it's the Royal American in Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah.
They want original music. They're there for a show.
That's,
you know.
That's where like there's some like rare gems like that, you know, like Dunedin Brewery out in Dunedin also.
Where?
is a great place that fosters like original music in the context of like a brewery bar. So you'll get hired to play for the whole night, or you can split it in half with another band, but they want you to do your show, and people that come there expect to see a show.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like finding gems like that along the way, especially when you're building out a tour where you're like, okay, I'm playing for the door or ticket sales in a market that I've never played before. I know I'm going to lose money on this one.
Yeah, spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Blue Jay listening room is also a big house for original music.
I fucking love Blue Jay, love Kara. She's coming on the podcast again tomorrow.
When? Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She was on she was one of our first guests when we started doing this back in 2020. I think she was like our second or third guest. Yeah. And then we just haven't had her on since, but
Pre-PV.
That's pretty cool.
what
Pre-production value.
Yes, pre-production value. When it was just me and my keyboard player and Side Hustle in his room with just shitty microphones and just one camera, and we were just with a fucking fake fireplace behind him.
No.
Drunkenly rambling about the problems of COVID.
Oh my god! We just had a bottle of fucking whiskey, getting hammered, just talking so much shit.
That's a good time to start a podcast, though.
That's
rich.
We had a lot of fun that first year doing it. The first 2 years, and then we took it more seriously when Chris and Gene came on board.
Really sucked the fun out of it.
Well, really, what sucked the fun out of it is when I decided to quit drinking, and now I don't get hammered and just spout whatever bullshit's going on in my head.
Yeah, now you're caffeinated and you have good cohesive thoughts. What a fucking problem.
Caffeinated and talking faster.
Yeah.
You really fit it all in there now.
Our viewership really goes up when you don't slur all your words together.
And say things that just piss people off.
You've cut your intros down from like 20 takes to 10. It's been incredible.
All right, I'll give them all the behind the scenes, dude. Come on.
You've seen my supercuts.
Pretty glorious. Yeah.
You guys should do like an annual release of the supercuts.
That is a great idea. We did
Full of them, Chris.
We did like
Full
a
of them.
we did a Christmas episode. That's going on the supercut. Instead of a Christmas episode, just a Christmas supercut.
Yeah, we did
Oh my
that
God.
Christmas one last year. That shit that was a good one.
That was
fun.
yeah.
Can I sit like this on your couch with shoes on?
You can do whatever you want. It's yeah, absolutely.
Don't tell me where it's been.
No. Well, it was the couch in my apartment up until earlier this year, so
Okay.
nothing crazy, just my dog spends some time on it.
Love dogs.
Yeah.
All right, safe couch.
Yeah.
We didn't find it outside in the parking lot and bring it in here.
And it reclines too if you want to recline, if you're feeling that. No pressure though,
I'll fall asleep.
Yeah. So anyways, another tangent. I don't know where that we were before.
We were talking about the Blue Jay.
Yes.
And how
yes.
Kara's going to be here tomorrow.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be there tonight
Going to
because
the
it's Jazz Jam.
yeah.
It's church.
What time does that go till? Like 11 or 10?
10:30.
All right, maybe I'll go there first and then go to YP's.
You absolutely should.
Yeah.
House bands like 8 to 9, and then they get all the jammers to come in. All these incredibly talented students.
Best in the land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that lady saxist, Mina? She plays a little sax sometimes.
I don't think I've seen her yet.
She's incredible.
Really?
UNF student?
Yeah, was or
okay.
is. No, sorry, she is now. I actually don't know. She started jazz jams when she was really young.
Cool.
She's just very talented.
What's her name? Mina?
Mina, like Nina, but with an M,
With an-
as in not monkey.
Well, sometimes we just got to go for it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Locked it in.
Mina, yeah, when she appears at jazz jams, it's extra special. So
Cool. I'm
Yeah.
excited. I haven't seen Stefan in a minute, and I haven't seen Stan will sometimes come in. I play at Ragtime over
Okay.
in Atlantic Beach like once a month, and Stan plays at that one's Meza across
Yeah.
the street from there.
Ooh, yeah.
So because the drinks are so expensive there, him and the band will come in to Ragtime like while I'm playing, and we'll just like catch up and shoot the shit for a bit.
Oh, I love that.
Dude, Stan and Stefan is like the best rhythm section of all
It's
time.
one of my favorites for sure.
Like
By far.
Yeah.
So good.
Put them in any genre too. It doesn't matter. Like they're gonna groove anything. They can groove country. They can groove jazz.
I just can't believe we have access
Yeah.
to jazz that's that good, like right here.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Like, people need to know.
It's true. I
It's
mean, like,
so damn good.
yeah, and like the scene is small, but it's putting out good stuff. Like Josh Bolus, he comes in sometimes and plays on the Tuesdays, and he just dropped a new album. Kenny's always recording stuff and putting it out. Like crazy good jazz scene
Yeah.
for what it is to be
Yeah.
in the Southeast. You know, it's like
Yeah.
Did you know that Kenny sings?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So he was in a bit. What's the? It wasn't Chroma. I'm trying. Centropolis.
Okay.
He's got a record out on Spotify, Centropolis, and he's singing on it, and it's
What?
nasty.
I had no idea.
It's like a funk. It's like JJ Grey and Mofro if it was funky and Kenny fronted it. I
Okay.
mean, it's
Very cool.
stupid how good it is.
I heard him sing last night for the first time. He did a duet with I forgot what the singer's name
His
was.
girlfriend Tish.
Yes, that's who it was.
Yeah.
They did what's that Tom Petty and
Stevie Nicks.
tune.
I'm just like
Drag my heart around, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
First off, I forgot how much I love that song. Second off, they fucking nailed it, dude.
Nice.
I heard Kenny just like, I see him holding the mic and I'm like, what's gonna happen here?
Where were they playing?
At Blue Jay.
Oh,
they
they
for
were
the
at-
3 Jam. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And he just starts fucking belting the Tom Petty verse. And I'm like, not only is he like one of the best sax players, but he's just a phenomenal singer too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, just, I mean, what a talented guy.
That's so cool. Yeah, the house band at the Blue Jay for jazz is so good. And Jonah Pierre on keys. Woo-wee.
Another monster. Yeah.
Total monster.
Yeah.
And again, to not just be like, good, like, because being good at piano is hard enough, right?
Yeah.
But you've seen him on like a synthesizer and like his own. I mean, it's just
He's got a swag.
so
And
talented, man.
Yeah. He's got a thing.
Yeah.
He's got it.
I've only
100%.
heard him play in the context of the Jazz Jam. I didn't know he had like synths. and
Oh,
all
dude,
that
he's
stuff.
got
Yeah.
so his solo project Borneo.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like look that up because it's him solo with samplers, synths, and all that stuff, and he like live loops, builds in the moment, and it's all synth based.
Really?
It's
Yeah.
incredible.
I called him at the Walrus one night doing that for the first time, and I was like,
Yeah.
because I had only ever seen him at jazz jams, and I saw
Yeah,
that, and I
dude.
was like, what an animal.
Yeah.
So stupidly good, dude. It's like that's the thing is just like to see all those guys play and then see them completely excel at a completely different thing is just like.
Yeah.
Oh, that's talent right
Yeah.
there. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so
Mad
crazy.
scientist vibes. He's brilliant.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's wild, man. We do have a lot of talent in this city for sure. It's been a great place to just kind of like build and like, you know, I don't know, establish yourself as an artist.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, it's a good place to do it.
Hone your craft. There's like a lot of other places to sharpen your knives and stuff with people, you know, like get everyone on the top of their game around here, you know. Talent begets talent and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely.
Golly, I love it. I don't know if my caffeine's kicking in or if I'm just
I'm buzzing.
really thriving on this combo. Oh, man. Cool.
What's that shirt mean?
Oh, this is Satya.
Is that like the brand or is that like a...
It's a Sanskrit word meaning truth. And it is a brand of chocolate.
Okay, I've got a...
It's
I'm
good.
curious.
And it's made with a lot of love.
I can
Like-
tell. I haven't done mushrooms in... I guess I did them like a year ago or something, but it was
Yeah.
very mild. But I used to do like lots of them all the time when I
Yeah.
was younger. But I'd be curious to try them now, just after just being a little older and like
Yeah, it's
having
different.
some more experience and
And
going in with intention and stuff, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I was just telling him yesterday about the microdosing and playing. Like it's, I thought it was like a super hack.
Yeah, I've performed microdose. And,
Yeah.
You know, or
I've-
like a little bit of a macro dose.
I've done it now twice in the past 2 weeks, and both the times I played, I just felt way more tuned into what I was playing and more present when I was playing it, and it was such a vibe. I mean, like the gigs were just bar gigs, and they were still just the most fun thing. And I was just like, this is the way to play music, honestly.
And there's something, so there's like parts of your ego that you take on stage. And when you microdose, you're able to like kind of like shed some of those walls and you can just play your music without this ego layer of like fear, nervousness, any of that, like that barrier. Even if you don't feel nervousness on stage, it's, I don't
Yeah.
but like subconsciously there's like this, what's my appearance right now? And it's
Yeah.
like stuff like that. And you shouldn't have to worry about that while you're playing music
So-
and making nice sounds.
Yeah,
you know?
and just the present. Like I know for me, it's like, what do I have to get done after this, or like what's on the
Yeah.
docket this week, and it's just like that gets all put aside for the night, and
Yeah.
it's like, all right, we're here.
You're just connected to the source,
Yeah, dude.
dude.
You're Satya. You're very true.
Yeah, you're your most truest being.
I tried to play on mushrooms one time, and I couldn't figure out how to plug my guitar in. So
Nice.
Love that. That's a lot of mushrooms.
I was gonna say a micro dose or a
A
macro
little over a
dose.
micro.
I think I ate like an eighth of like hydroponic mushrooms.
Hydroponic.
Yeah, so I was flying. I felt good, but I couldn't like I grabbed,
Sounded like shit, but played
well, I
felt
couldn't,
good.
even I couldn't sound like anything. I couldn't plug my guitar in.
One time I like started singing my own songs backwards.
Really?
Whoa.
That's fucking
Whoa.
trippy. That's
You can pay me to do that.
that sounds.
That would take me a week.
And I was like, wait.
It sounds a
Wait.
little spawn of Satan-y.
And then I
Yeah.
couldn't not.
You're stuck in a backwards loop.
I was like, I'm just gonna put this down.
Um.
Do this right now.
So when you say a little bit of a macro dose, what's that dosage mean?
Like maybe like to me, double microdosing.
Like a gram?
So microdosing is usually like 0.3
Okay.
of a gram.
So you do like half a gram as a macro, or as a small macro dose, or like 0.6.
I guess it'd be like 0.6.
Yeah. Okay. And then what's like, you run a risk of making, when you take it consistently, you take it like if you're microdosing like for like medicinally, people typically do like 3 times a week or something.
Yeah, they do like the different stacks, like the Stammet stacks and stuff like that. And then they also, I mean, it depends on your tolerance, because not
That's
everybody
what I was-
does the stacks like that, where
Yeah.
they'll do like 3 days on, 3 days off, or like 4 days on and then 4 days off, or like every other day. There's all different, ways to stack. But also, if you haven't done mushies in a while, then even a microdose, you may feel something. It depends on what's in your stomach, what's blended in the microdose. If there's like niacin or other mushroom blends like lion's mane or anything like that, it'll just like run through you a little bit differently. But usually a microdose you should never feel.
Okay.
But mentally, the barriers that can usually create obstacles creatively, they go away.
Okay.
And it's so fascinating because it even still surprises me when I microdose and write. And I'm like, what a great tool. And I don't want to like abuse this tool, but it's like every time I microdose and sit down to write, it's just like pours out. It's amazing.
Okay, so because that's always the part that I get concerned about. I do not like the onset of any psychedelics, whether it be acid or mushrooms. And people always tell me it's like, well, when you microdose, you get kind of that onset feeling, and then it just kind of stays there, which is the part that I
Interesting.
like don't want to feel. So you're saying that at smaller doses, you're not feeling any physical.
You shouldn't feel any physical differences. If you are feeling physical differences, then it's too much.
Okay.
Microdose, you should not feel anything. It should just be a little bit more mental clarification and focus. You shouldn't physically feel anything. You might mentally feel lighter, which can cause a physical reaction, but never like physically, like, high or,
Yeah. Yeah.
you should be able to do normal daily things,
Okay. I'm curious. I'm gonna try this out.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to try it.
Yeah.
It's a fun, creative tool to use every now and then. And what I love about psilocybin is it stays in your habit. Like, you don't have to keep taking psilocybin. It's like once you learn and you like rewire a little bit on a habit of like being open and removing an obstacle creatively, you don't need to take it the next day to experience the same thing.
Okay.
It's like you're relearning how to free yourself, if that makes any sense.
I love that. Yeah.
So that's what I love about psilocybin, is that you learn new ways of living and new ways of living mentally. And when you like free yourself of a certain obstacle or barrier, whatever it is, a fear of failure per se, creatively, like, are people gonna like this song? If you're, everybody's writing for themselves, I would imagine. But sometimes you do have that like subconscious that's like waving over you, that's like, does this sound good, versus just letting it pour out on paper first.
Right.
But anyways, I mean, you kind of relearn on psilocybin versus like just, I don't know, like having to take it again to experience the same thing. You'll learn something new every time.
That's the intriguing part about it, because, and whatever, I've talked about it on the show before, but like up until like when I quit drinking, I also had a real big problem with like, taking like Adderall and stuff like that. And that was like my tool to write, because I mean, just the clear-headedness and just the focus and all that stuff. But what it doesn't do is teach you how to do it when you're not on it, because literally the crash is so bad that the last thing you want to do is even open your eyes in the day. So I obviously, like, I still write and practice without it. I've been clean off of all that for 8 months now. So, and I've still been writing and practicing, but I would be nice to have something to like lean on, and I take very small like doses of edibles, like, which helps creatively, but I don't have like the focus. I just kind of meander around my instrument and come up with ideas. I'm like, oh, that sounds cool, but also this does, and also this does. Wait, what was that other idea?
There's like the loss of like focus. I know like Stevie Nicks. I mean, she loved like smoking a J before writing songs, from what I've like read and heard about her. It's definitely, they're all creative tools. Like I love a coffee and a cigarette. Sounds crazy, but man, what is it? Coffee and some nicotine? Well,
yeah, totally.
And then I'm like,
for those just listening, that was all what do you call that?
Go to our YouTube.
Did you get
pantomiming.
that? I can't hear. Destiny strumming air guitar. Destiny is writing on pen and paper.
I got some overdubs I'll work on. I'll throw those in there. Just overdub some guitar strum, some pen on paper. Oh, fucking calm down. I'm 10 years clean of that stuff, dude. Watch it.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, have you noticed any difference with like the microdosing with psilocybin versus like a THC kind of headspace when you're writing or being creative?
Yeah, I mean, I like THC, but it's not really I'm like so like airy, so like me and THC don't always like mix. I'm like, I have a hard time focusing.
Yeah.
But even like I like microdosing LSD, that's microdosing that is so different than microdosing psilocybin.
Really?
Yeah. It's definitely, I feel like it's more analytical, like logical. Like the microdosing LSD is more like way more like streamlined. Like it's a little bit different.
Okay.
I think it's for a different kind of focus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus like a fluid creativity. Maybe mixing and things. The engineering part
the
of
engineering
things.
Side, yeah.
That'd be a good one. But yeah, I don't know. I'm THC usually. I can't like focus too well on that.
Yeah, it also just makes me lazy as shit. Like,
Yeah.
there are times where I'm like, if I've eaten like a little bit of an edible, where I do pick up my guitar because it's just what I want to do.
Yeah.
But
Physically, it feels great.
yes,
Yeah.
but there's nothing coming out of me that I'm like, oh, I want to sit down and write a tune now.
Yeah. I'm like, this feels good.
Yeah, I just want to fucking noodle. I just want to play and create.
Yeah,
man.
which is also great for the muscle too.
Totally.
I think all of it's important.
Definitely.
All important to sit with, and then finding ways to inspire us too. Like, there's something about being on the road for me that just like I write like crazy then.
It's the greatest.
It's the greatest thing, and I
time.
can't wait to be on the road with bandmates.
Yeah.
What are we going to create together?
Yeah.
You know?
Probably a lot of animosity and hatred for each other.
Stop touching my elbow!
Hashtag side hustle.
Yeah, hashtag side hustle. No, the road is so amazing. It's like the greatest place ever. I mean, it when you're with people, it is
Yeah.
very trying. But it
No barking spiders in the car, please.
yeah. But it's also bonding, you know.
Mm-hmm.
not the last tour that we did, but we did one a couple years back where it was we played Asheville and a couple other places, and then the way that I was flying to Turkey when I got back for a wedding, so I built the tour to be back in Jacksonville 2 days before my flight out of Miami, so I could pack, drive down. Anyways, the van breaks down on the way. We're like, I forget where, somewhere in North Georgia or something. And so the van breaks down, and then we're on the side of the road for, no joke, 8 hours, just roasting in the sun. We ran out of water. We had nothing. And we're all just like, this is brutal, dude. So anyways, we get a hotel somewhere, which is just, mind you, all this is severely eating into whatever money we made that weekend.
Yeah.
And so we had to get the van fixed, got a motel, and then we get on the road again. And then about an hour and a half down the road, the van breaks down again. We had to, at this point, I have to be in Miami the next morning by 6 a.m. for my flight. We're in Valdosta, Georgia. And
I've never even heard of that place.
yeah, right. And it's about I don't know, we were about 2.5 hours from Jacksonville still. So we're on the side of the road again. We had called a AAA person. They told us to not worry about the tow truck. They're going to fix it was a battery issue. Well, it wasn't a battery issue. We'd already canceled the tow truck. So we had already been waiting for like 6 hours for the tow truck, by the way. And the AAA guy's like, well, I can't tow you. This truck I have doesn't tow. So you're going to need to call another tow truck. And I'm like, we just canceled. It was on the way. And you told us to cancel it. He was like, yeah, you got to order another. Anyways, we had to call another one.
Did you punch that guy?
I
Did you punch him?
I was being a huge asshole to him, and Billy was like, "Dude, chill out. It's not his fault." I'm like, "Yes, it fucking is, dude. We were almost done with this."
Were you also hangry?
Yeah, and dehydrated, and also had full disclosure, I had no more Adderall left. No, I had no more Adderall left with me, and I'm like on day 2 of a gnarly crash.
Oh, yeah.
Always had it with me on the road.
Oh yeah,
And
brutal.
yeah, so no sleep, crashing, hot sun for 8 hours on the side of the road. Eventually, we call a tow truck. I'm like, we can't wait here. So we all call our girlfriends, and we all get rides back. Like, so
From Georgia?
from Georgia.
The
And
girls all drove up from Jacksonville,
Yep.
Florida.
shout out to them. They were the real heroes. My girlfriend had no choice because we had a flight to catch out of Miami. So either she came to pick me up, or we were totally screwed. And a flight to Turkey is not cheap.
I was going to
So-
say she's either the hero or the villain of that story. One
Yeah.
of the two.
So she comes to pick me up. We drive back. She doesn't get there till like 6 o'clock. Okay.
God.
We drive back to Jacksonville. We pack and then leave Jax by 10. Drive down to Miami, her parents live in Delray, so we stayed in Delray till we got there at 3 o'clock in the morning. Right. Then we had to catch a tri-rail from Delray to Miami to MIA. And then we flew. It was like a 13-hour trek to get to Turkey with like a couple of layovers. So I didn't sleep for 2 days, and then we land in Athens, Greece. We stayed there for like 2 days, and
She didn't sleep for 2 days either, did she?
no one slept for 2 days.
Did you rub her feet?
No, but I did. I didn't think about that actually.
Hey,
Yeah.
what's her name?
Chelsea.
Chelsea, can you be sure that he rubs your feet? He owes you. When was this?
Oh, this is 2 years ago.
2 years ago, gone too far.
Yeah.
Get that foot rubbed.
Yeah. But And then we fucking landed in Athens, and dude, we hit the ground running. I mean, we were just like, no, I didn't even care. I was like, we're in Athens for 2 days. We're gonna experience the city.
You guys are probably like on drugs, but sober. You're just high on
out.
no sleep.
Oh, I found the first place that we could find and try to get a Maker's Mark, and they do not have bourbon in most bars in Europe because it's not bourbon's an American whiskey, you know. So like, so eventually we found a place that had Maker's Mark, and I sat down. And we on this rooftop bar overlooking like the Acropolis and all that, and just with a fucking bourbon on the rocks, and just sat there. And I was like, "This is good. This is good." But that was, and then when I got back from Turkey, a bass player quit the band right after we released our album.
Wow, what was it? What is that? Mercury in retrograde? Had to be. Am I right?
yeah. In October of 2021, whatever was happening then.
I think it's more bass player in Georgia grade, but whatever.
Oh man.
But for the rest of us, I mean, you know, we look back on it as a crazy experience, and we always have that struggle together. So,
good.
Make sure you have your ducks in a row before you pour it.
Laugh about
Make
it.
sure you rub your girl's feet after she does some massive stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. No, she came in strong for that one. That was
That's
great.
really cool.
Yeah. So, anyways, you know, do better than I did for the tour.
Hey, I feel like that stuff was completely out of your control.
Yeah.
So that's the stuff I think I don't look forward to, but I wouldn't be surprised when it happens, and it's just like not punching the tow truck guy.
Yeah.
And or the not tow truck guy.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, handling it with grace when I can, and remembering what's important in those moments, which is hella tough after 8 hours of bacon on an asphalt like a fried egg.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's a weird thing when you go into those moments because you're like, everyone's like looking to you to solve the problem.
yeah,
You
see,
know.
and because you're band leader.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like, what are we doing, man? And you're like, right, what are we doing? My van is broken, but what are we doing right now? And then you gotta like, while you're panicking and thinking about your budgets and like everything else you gotta do, you gotta like then start solving problems. And it's, but it's good. I mean, it's good character building, and you know, ultimately like learning how to delegate and, you know, just being strong for everybody in those situations is
so cool to have bandmates that are like have like specific technical jobs in the band too.
yeah.
That would be so rad.
Well, you find like people that are in the band, you can start like delegating.
Yeah,
I feel like.
I mean, and that's
right?
Mike Monahan for us. I mean, he's definitely in the band.
Yeah.
He's the one.
And he likes doing that kind of stuff, right? Like he gets
Yeah.
to do
Well,
it.
he's super passionate regardless. I mean, and he's a very dependable individual.
Yeah.
Not that everybody else that I play with is not. They all are. Just Mike just loves Babe Honey too.
Yeah.
So he's definitely invested.
He's a phenomenal drummer. I mean,
Yeah.
what a fucking like powerhouse.
Yeah, we're gonna start scheduling some shows out of state next week. So him and I are gonna be sitting down together and looking over the calendar and things like that. And he's gonna help me because he also has some relationships with other venues because we're doing a DIY
Yeah.
little tour in the spring.
Awesome.
So yeah, so it's nice to have somebody else in the band that's able to like tap in that way. And he's already been around the block with Annie
Dukes.
Dukes.
Yeah.
Sweet Annie Dukes. God, they're good.
They're so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did our 100th episode. We did it live at a Kingmaker Brewery, and they played some songs afterwards and really just nailed it. So
Yeah.
good.
And Cassidy's voice is just like
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
ba ba boo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a cool witchy lady.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You guys want to hit some unpopular opinions?
Always.
Let's do it.
Are you familiar with this segment at all?
I am not.
Okay,
Let's
so
hit it.
So it's pretty self-explanatory, I guess. We all go around and do just say an unpopular opinion and discuss it, and then, you know, see how we feel about each other at the end of it.
It's like at the restaurant, and I think I know what I want to order, but can you guys go first when the server comes back?
Yeah, of course. Chris usually kicks it off, so
All right. This was inspired by last night's events. Sports and concerts, sporting events and concerts are the same thing. They're the exact same thing. And it's funny because there's such a like high school like jocks versus band kids. And they're the same thing. It's just crazy that one, you just physically beat people up, and the other, you emotionally beat people up. It's crazy. But they're the same. Like, you get there, and everyone hangs out in a parking lot together, selling their wares and drinking. Then you go inside the big place, and then everyone waits around for the thing to start. The thing starts, everyone claps and yells, and then you leave, and there's a bunch of traffic. They're the same thing.
Yeah.
They're the same thing. Why do people and it's funny, musicians hate sports people. I love Alex Hamey to death. Alex hates football. Yesterday,
Really?
yeah.
Seems like a football guy.
You would think that.
Lifts heavy weights.
I
would imagine likes football.
you would
Love you, Alex.
you would 100% think that. So we were supposed to play last night, and we ended up getting canceled because Jags on Monday Night Football. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And Alex, and he posted this on his story, so I have no problem repeating what he's owning. But he's like, "Yeah, we're canceled tonight. Go enjoy the sports ballers. If you love wearing a grown man's name on your back, this is for you." And it's like, yeah, dude, but they're you. You know what I mean? You're doing the same thing. So there's this hatred between sports and concerts. They're all entertainment. It's all the same exact thing. What is the deal? Like, can we all just like each other? What's the problem?
We could like each other if we stopped getting our gigs canceled because of the games.
That's okay.
It's not okay. It's a real problem for me when I got like literally 80% of my gigs canceled in August through the rest of the year because of football, and then I've been still trying to scramble to fill those dates.
That's not a sports ball problem. That's a shit manager problem.
Yeah.
So we can like them. What we need to hate is managers. We hate managers at restaurants and shitty bars that we hate playing at.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that did that to you.
Playing there, there's too much spaghetti.
Too much spaghetti and Navy guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's too much
It's like
Miranda.
an Eminem song.
Outta here.
Yeah. You gotta lose your gig to the Jaguars.
I was worried about Blue Jay last night because of the 8 o'clock game.
Yeah, there was not that many people there, which is wild because the talent was.
But all the talent was watching the game and supporting their brethren in entertainment.
Yeah, they were.
So
everybody was on the breaks, just glued to the phone. Okay, what's happening?
So that's the thing. We should
Watching.
prioritizing one over the other is trash. You know, especially if you're gonna prioritize a televised thing over a real live art thing. That's stupid. Mm-hmm. That's not their fault though. They're just doing the thing. Mm-hmm. It's, so we shouldn't hate on them so much. I hate managers a little extra because they're bad at managing, they're high on coke, and they're also making bad choices with their entertainment.
Cocaine.
Looking at you, all of you.
Okay.
I didn't name names. Come on. So anyway, that's my beef. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, it's all entertainment.
Of course.
Yeah.
I don't have any issue with sports. I don't particularly find it entertaining to watch.
Sure.
I do think on a philosophical level, they're a necessary thing to have as a part of society.
Yeah.
I just, for me, I don't really care. People that enjoy them don't bother me. Most of my friends are really big Dolphins fans or fans, and it's fine. I just don't have much say in the conversation. It only bothers me when I'm directly affected by it, when my money gets fucked with because of sports. Which, to your point, it's not the team's fault or the sports fault. It's the people that make those decisions based on it.
Poor decision.
Yeah.
A poor decision.
Probably not a poor decision on their part. I mean, it's saving them money, obviously, so it's a good decision for the venue, but it's a bad.
That's another problem I had, especially after last night, and I won't go into it.
Decision in terms of scheduling or canceling.
Canceling, because here's the thing. I've got the problem with this because it was the thing last night, and I won't flame him too hard because we still have the gig.
Yeah.
But the argument was we're gonna have more people come into the bar, an influx of people to watch the game. So we're going to cancel music because we don't want to lose money. It's you're going to make more money with more people, but you're canceling us. So you're just trying to capitalize your money by saving X dollars you're paying us and then taking all this extra money from people coming to watch the game.
Yeah, that's weird.
You're going to make money.
During games at lunches.
It's terrible.
And it's not fun,
It's
but
the
they didn't
worst.
cancel it,
Yeah.
at least. You know what I mean? Like, I've played during a lot of NBA games at lunches.
And here's the thing.
Not great. They're shouting and cheering, not for me.
Yeah,
I know. It's like,
It's always real
oh, you
fun.
guys, you guys really like
Just
that.
be over in the corner.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they're clapping for the bridge. They like the bridge. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. No, that's not what's
They
happening.
don't give a hoot.
Here's the thing: the money's already budgeted. They
Mm-hmm.
budgeted the money for that night, and they're still going to survive. So just pay out the artist. Tell them before they leave their house that you're good. Here's your Venmo. Here's your check. It's in the mail. Whatever. Have your night. Make the money you want to make. It's all good. You've already made the budget. These people that are like, oh, we gotta. This dude reached out and canceled us morning of. It's like this Jag schedule has been out since what? June, July.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been out forever. And the morning of, you just decide to cancel.
Yeah.
No, you got to pay full price for that.
Well, here's
Sorry.
the thing, and like from now on, now you have to collect a deposit from that person because
Totally.
because there are venues that they are loyal to the plan and they will pay you out
Yes.
even if they cancel you.
Yes.
That's the right thing to do because this is what you do for a living.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you can't just people have deposits all the time for different services that you have to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is how you eat.
Yeah,
100%.
and I don't even think that the big issue is canceling the day of.
Right.
I wouldn't even, if they're gonna make that call, I think that at least like half of the agreed upon price
Right.
is fair.
Totally.
Because we're both losing out here, and that's that's called a shared risk, and that's
Yeah.
what we get in this for.
Sure.
But like, I do think it's dangerous territory to walk on when we start speculating about how a bar is running their business by assuming that they already have the money budgeted. Because the problem is
They
that
booked you. They do have the money budgeted. They booked you.
a lot. That's the ideal situation. But a lot of people aren't running an ideal business, and a lot of people are depending on bands to bring in the income that they're paying for. So, I'm not saying that's the right way to do it. I'm saying that that's a way that's done, which makes for a not stable or reliable, business venture with a bar. But that's why it's dangerous to speculate.
But you
and
always get paid. 99% of the time, you always get paid, regardless of whether you bring people or not. They got that. They knew they booked you. They knew what you cost.
Yeah.
That's the bump. Like, sure, they might be also speculating that you'll bring people and they'll spend money and that'll help cushion their cost of paying you and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
But they already know we're paying this guy this many dollars tonight, regardless of anything else that happens.
Well,
That's all I'm
especially
saying.
They definitely have the money if the influx of people are coming in for that game.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I get that. That's a whole different conversation than what I originally said. They're just the same thing.
Yeah.
Which I still fully believe. But all these things are good too. So I'm glad.
Yeah, sports. I mean, it's
Glad
all
we-
entertainment at the end of the day.
And deposits
for sure.
are reasonable. You can do it. You're allowed to collect
Not
a deposit.
100%. That's something musicians should.
I know. If it is outside, always. If I'm playing an outside gig, I'm like, I need a 30% deposit
Yep.
because weather happens, y'all.
Yep.
Yeah, especially in
Like-
Florida.
Yeah.
And there's
and
too
30%
many-
isn't even a lot.
It's not.
You
And
know?
there's too many lemon bars out there that are gonna just ruin your day.
Well, in South Florida, I had to.
Yeah.
Everything's outside.
Yeah.
And but it was no issue to collect a deposit. You know?
Everything is super corporate down there, so they're just
Yeah,
like,
they're like, oh,
deposit.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
here you
yeah.
go.
Yeah, no problem.
And they like pay you at the moment. There's so many places here that don't pay you right away.
Yeah.
What is that,
Oh,
Jacksonville?
we just had a nice long talk about that. It took Anton 3 weeks to get paid recently.
That wasn't the venue though. That
Try
was
3
a
months.
shitty.
Oh,
Ooh, Jesus.
Whoa.
And I'm a poker. I want my money.
Yeah. It's very intimidating. I would pay you.
Right?
Got a lot of pasta I gotta eat. Where's my money?
Hello, you live. I'm just kidding.
I've never had to wait 3 months to get paid from some. Well, there was one place I had to wait like 2 months, I think.
That's too long.
It's way too long, especially if you like. First off, I stopped playing at places that say the check's in the mail. No,
Yep.
I don't want it in the mail, dude. It gets lost in the mail.
Yeah.
And then people that like bars that want to pay like if they're like via Venmo or something, it gets weird too because if you don't pay me on the spot, then I gotta hunt you down because you're gonna forget about it.
Right.
And I don't want to chase people down for shit
Well,
like
and
that.
that's what's weird. When it's been so long, I get upset because I'm like, I am going to forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my money that I earned is in the ether and it never touches my bank. Like,
Yeah.
that's not cool,
Not at all.
especially when you have other musicians involved.
Oh, yeah.
When you're doing a gig with multiple musicians, you're like, hey, this is a good paying gig.
And they're like,
Sorry, I can't pay you out of my own pocket.
Yeah.
And then you feel like a slacking business owner.
Yeah.
nothing is worse than getting a bandmate texting you going, "Hey man, what's that pay look
Did
like?"
we get paid yet?
You're
Did we
like-
get paid yet? And I'm like, no. And
Yeah.
then when they're upset with me, I'm like, claws at the
I was
person
gonna
who
say
hasn't
attack
paid
dog,
us.
yeah.
I'm like, hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
I do sympathize with band leaders in that position. I had one recently, which is what Chris was just alluding to, that took 2 weeks to get me paid. And I don't necessarily mind the waiting period if we've agreed on the terms. I don't like waiting, but if I agree to it, then I agree to it, and it is what it is. But I was told I was going to get paid the night of the show, afterwards. And then I got the runaround by the band leader, and then the musical director, and then the manager of the band. Everyone's telling me I'm getting paid from something different. And I'm like, just tell me who and when I'm getting paid. That's all I need to know. And then don't make me wait 2 fucking weeks while you're telling me the money's coming tonight.
Yeah.
Shit like that, you know what I mean? That's just
I don't like
bullshit,
that.
dude.
Yeah.
I don't
no.
like that.
The expectation, that's such an important thing. It's an important thing with venues, artists, your bandmates, just hell, your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, expectations are creating an expectation is so important, and like clear communication with the band too, and it's hard sometimes, because there's so many people that we have to rely on in the industry when you have something planned,
Yeah,
you
definitely.
like I've just noticed in this city, the expectations aren't exactly created. Sometimes the breakdowns aren't shared, like they're not transparent with like booking companies, management companies in the area, and like that's just strange. That's a strange thing in this city, I've noticed, and it seems like across the board to be that way here. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's I mean, that's what happens when it's a lot of gigs for like low stakes,
Yeah.
and that's what ends up happening.
Mhm.
People just don't cover their tracks or
right.
You know,
Even prior to studio time, when you're sharing a studio time with your artists or fellow bandmates, or like, a hired gun in the studio, like, what do you expect, a flat rate or a percentage, or
that
what is
stuff's
it?
got to be communicated.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised, a lot of people don't talk about it before they're going into it.
Yeah.
Fuck no, dude.
So weird.
That would give me such anxiety.
Right.
I worked with a songwriter like a year ago. I was helping him just write some stuff or whatever, and I just went in and I was okay. I don't need credits on the writing or production. Just pay me a flat rate for my
Right.
time. And we did that. And then I worked with him on another one where we agreed to do, credits on the back end. And we talked about percentages and all that. And then I even told him, I was like, I'll come into the studio and help you produce it for free because I like the song and I think it's got potential, So he ended up not taking me up on that. But everything was like very talked about ahead of time.
Right.
And contracts are important and all that stuff. But again, when things are done at like consistently low stakes,
Yeah.
then people just don't see that. We're talking about a couple $100 here and there over a course of whatever. People are just like, okay, whatever, I get paid or I don't. And at in bigger cities,
Value.
yeah, it's hard to know what you're worth, or furthermore to create value for yourself if you don't know the value that you're actually adding to something.
Yeah.
That's why and then also if you want to maintain, people get weird about talking about details and contracts because they don't want to put such a business
Right.
strain on a friendship. But it's like, we do contracts to keep friendships.
Right.
If we all know what the stakes are
Mm-hmm.
and what the expectations are, then we can remain friends after this. Well,
Yeah.
it's when we don't know those things where we stop becoming friends,
Yeah.
So anyways,
Go Jags.
yeah, go Jags.
Ugh.
I'll do my unpopular opinion then, unless you got one already. Okay, I'll go. Let's see. I write them down, so I got lots of them.
Oh, you write them down?
Yeah, I got like a notepad because we do these for every episode. So, There's a few here that I could go with. One that's been bothering me lately though is fucking brands and businesses have to stop with the sponsored posts on TikTok, dude. It's too much.
What do you mean?
Like when you see like Taco Bell doing like a sponsored ad on TikTok and you're like, this feels like you're patronizing me. And I don't like it. Like the content is cheesy as fuck.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then it feel like who is watching this is, you know what? Taco Bell. That's what I'm getting right now.
They're shaping their ad to be like the content on the platform.
It just
Yeah.
takes away from
Thing.
the feel too. If like, I mean, I don't even have TikTok, so I don't know what goes on there. But that can like just if you're trying to express yourself creatively, and then you have like, bong.
Yeah.
Crunchwrap Supreme.
Yeah.
Mountain Dew Blast is black. Back.
Yeah, exactly
Like,
that. Yeah.
it's like cool way to kill my vibe.
Yeah, definitely. And exactly like what you're saying, Chris, that it's like they're creating content for that platform specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like you're patronizing. Like don't
Yeah.
we know that you're not in touch with reality. You're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. And it's not just them, it's fucking Target, it's fucking like all these big companies like, dude, and there's the business person in me is like, I get it. You got to adapt and you have to like market and all. But it's so bad, and it's so fucking patronizing is the only word that I know to use. It's so patronizing.
To tag off that too, like you see all these like TikTok stars that are now getting picked up by these companies, and they're like making the content they would make, but they're doing ads for these people.
This video is sponsored by Pixel 8.
Yeah,
or
like,
they'll dude, fuck you.
Or they'll just like, I've seen one where like a pin company sponsored them, and so like they're making a sketch like they would do on their platform, but just like keep name dropping the exact name and brand of the pin. And it's like, I couldn't get through the day without my G2 Easy Glide. It's just like, fuck off.
Yeah.
So annoying.
I scroll past instantly. Oh, this video is brought to you by GoPro. Scroll.
Nope.
Don't want to see it anymore. Like the second I feel like you're trying to sell me something, I'm done, dude. I'm on this platform because first off, as a musician, you kind of have to be now. And then second off, it's a hilarious distraction. I mean, like the content that people are putting on TikTok is creative and it's hilarious, and I'm into it.
Devil's advocate, there are tiny exceptions every now and again. Like some local companies or smaller companies can get on there and do some really fun stuff.
Yeah,
it is not the norm.
No, yeah, like smaller brands that are doing something like cool
different.
Because they are actually in touch. They like know what's happening on the ground, and they can play off that a little
Mass
bit.
market. I'm over it.
Yeah, it's too much, and it's getting. And now, like, this is the first time I've been active on TikTok. I guess I had it last year too, but like, I'm noticing now because they're starting to actually have real market data on how the ads are working. That for the holidays, it's just every other video is like a sponsored post from some shitty fucking company that I don't care about.
Yeah. Well, also like, what bugs me about social media in general is like these were supposed to be platforms for somewhat ordinary people, and like celebrities have just fucking taken them over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you have TV in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Get out.
I
You
know.
already got something.
This is for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Get on out of here. You're messing with the algorithm.
But we're just trying to be like you guys.
Go
we're,
on, get Reese Witherspoon.
Go get.
Episode title, by the way.
Go on, get Reese
Yeah.
Witherspoon. You approve? Okay, that's it. That's a YouTube episode.
I'll add it to
title.
my merch idea.
Yeah.
Go on, get Reese.
I kind of love it. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm writing it. I gotta write it down. Otherwise
I do really like her. I also like her book choices.
her. Do you
She has a
follow
book
her?
club.
Oh, do you follow her book club on TikTok?
No. Is it on there?
I don't know.
Oh.
Just talking shit.
I don't have TikTok.
We will find out. So
Too
not
scared.
even to like promote Babe Honey stuff. Just the curious.
mean?
No, to just only like if you made a Babe Honey thing and just flood it with
Reese Witherspoon?
No TikTok.
Oh, on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Reese
one.
Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon
really
fan
trying
page.
to get like Reese. Reese
I want
Witherspoon's
my
attention.
algorithm to be only Reese Witherspoon and lookalikes and fan clubs.
Yeah.
No, the other way around for your music.
So you think like if it would be beneficial for me to be on TikTok?
It's almost like you play the game a little bit.
It's
I was just curious.
interesting because I feel like it's its own world, and I've been talking about this with my friend Brooke Garwood,
Yeah.
Sunchild. She has like a totally different fan base on TikTok than she does with the people that know her
Definitely.
on Instagram. She's like, oh no, that's only a TikTok video, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what does that mean? Because I'm out of touch because I don't have TikTok, but like, she has a completely different target on TikTok than she does on Instagram, and her music does very well on TikTok apparently, and like it's I don't know. I feel maybe I'm like scared to fail at it or something and be like the old lady that downloads TikTok and tries.
And she really puts it in on that. And I like
Her and Millie.
Yeah, both of them,
Yeah.
And I don't do, when I don't use any of that, but I do anything I'll put up on Instagram, I'll also throw up on there just to kind of cast the net a little bit wider. And I can't say that it's really done anything for me.
Yeah.
But, if it's there, my thought is like, if it's there, why are you not, like, why not just, throw it out and see?
Yeah.
But, there's different schools of thought on that.
Yeah.
Some, like we talk about it, like find your one platform and really push that platform. And I don't know,
Yeah, it makes me like, it's intimidating a little bit. Like
Yeah.
I have a friend, Brennan, she's TikTok famous for like eco-conscious things, and she does a brilliant job, and it's the only reason why I ever downloaded TikTok was to watch her videos, see what she's doing on there. I'm like, this is paying your bills? Wow.
Yeah.
And she's doing a great job at it. I mean, she is a TikTok person, and I think they even have like TikTok conferences and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big time.
But yeah, it's very intimidating to like, indulge into another app, and I'm like, cool, like another thing, because if you're starting a project, there's so many moving parts anyways. So that's why I'm kind of like, let me just add another thing for my
that
to-do
you gotta
list
keep
on
up
the
with.
weekly basis or
Totally.
whatever.
I definitely feel that. I think that you are right though. TikTok exists in its own ecosystem. It can certainly feed the other things.
Yeah.
But like because it's such a younger like consumer base, it's like Instagram is a younger consumer base also, but it's also like just more general too.
Right.
Because like and then there is content that works better on TikTok that doesn't work as well on Instagram, because TikTok is user generated content. So most people on TikTok are also creating content, and then they want to interact with the content in some kind of way.
Okay,
So
have they like redo the sounds or the
yeah.
yeah.
You duet stuff, you stitch stuff, you can add your own sound, or you can take the sound and create your own video with it. Like it's very interactive in that way, and that's kind of how people blow up on it.
Yeah.
Because they use those sounds, or they whatever, like
You
just
kind of like get to reinvent. It's like another rendition of a song we all know and love, and then when somebody does a refreshing rendition of it, it just keeps it alive.
exactly.
So I think that's what is happening on TikTok.
And Instagram has tried to do something similar with Reels, like that you can remix the videos, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
People on Instagram don't want to be on TikTok. That's why they don't like.
Photos. I know.
Yeah, photos and even doing Reels is annoying, because I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
just the photos is fine.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just, Facebook bought Instagram, and it's just,
Yeah. Yeah. And forget about Facebook, dude. I don't even have like an artist page on there. I just use it for personal
I don't do
stuff.
people are like for different venues and stuff. What's your Facebook so we can link the tickets and stuff? And I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. Not
I'm
doing
like,
it.
oh no. Stick with bands in town.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've got a link tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can sell tickets on the platform I use. No. Fuck off.
We have a Facebook event that we're posting.
Oh my
Oh,
How
god.
do we tag you
great.
to our Facebook event?
I can't wait to see all the grandmas in the audience.
That's what I'm like. Who's coming to this?
Right. It's funny because like if you go, and there's a part of me that feels bad because you don't want to like negate an entire like group of people or like alienate an entire like market of people.
Yeah.
But also like in bigger cities, they're not using Facebook really for that kind of stuff. It might be like an afterthought. Like we'll put up an event page just because there's people on Facebook. But like in LA, when I was there, it was like you have to there's it's very much like active listening to vinyl, where you have to actively find the information on Instagram by using stories and seeing who's tagged and then trying to find those people and then be like, okay, this is who's going to be here and this I found the flyer now.
Yeah.
You know, and then you're like, now you're invested because you spent a minute trying to find out details about this event, right? But it's like there's a mechanism in place on these platforms to just make it more interactive. Whereas Facebook, it's like I get like invites like 100 times a day for something. I'm like, I'm not even thinking about this, dude. You know,
Yeah.
and it's mostly like for fucking, you know, I don't know, like a blues event or something. Which, no offense, I love the blues, but it's fucking wrap it up. You know,
Got enough of them at home. God, I don't need to come to yours. Come on.
So anyways, that's my unpopular opinion.
Nice.
TikTok sponsored ads from shitty companies need to go away forever. What you got, Desi?
I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or not, or if it's even like a negative one.
Send it.
I don't really know, but I'm going to send it. All right. Everybody's a model. Everybody's a photographer. Everybody's a rock star now. It's social media. Everybody has the ability to do everything. And now all these art forms are kind of like a little bit diluted.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I
100%.
mean? It's like when Instagram really took off, you know, a little bit after like 2011, it's like everybody is a supermodel now, influencer, but like as a model, you know, and all of these people are like I wouldn't say every selfie is like, I don't think it's always a vain thing, but like, especially nowadays, it's not vain. People are literally like talking to the world, you know, like it's not I mean, sometimes it's a, look at me and my lips and my Kylie Jenner lips and stuff like that. But and now everybody's, you know, making pop in their bedrooms, and it's just like everybody is able to, you know, it's hard as a consumer even to just kind of like sort through all of the music now to find something really authentic and original. It's tough now, I think, because it's so diluted and oversaturated and just so much of everybody uploading.
Yeah. And I think that like Instagram kind of like raised the threshold of like what you know, like the bottom line is, because like you could tell bad music by, you know, it just is.
Yeah.
But now that it's on Instagram and all that stuff, it's like, all right, you can go on and find all this great music, but I think the cream still rises to the top. It's just a lot harder to find, you know, like there's just, like you said, it's so saturated. You can find, okay, he's good, like a good guitar player. Great. He's a great guitar player online. I see a bunch of good videos, but then you see no music released or no website or no tour dates. It's like, all right, cool.
Or it's like that hot chick that Kevin was talking about, Kevin Pekin.
God, I love her.
You know, Kevin was talking about, like, this girl is like super hot, total bombshell, smoke show, you name it. Plays the guitar, kinda.
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah.
Is this?
This could be, okay, to be fair, this could be a lot of different girls.
Oh, is there like a lot?
It's,
Oh,
it's
but
not limited.
I don't know. It's not in my algorithm.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
Let's just pick, we could pick
but it's the one Kevin was talking about that one day.
Blue to Tiger. Let's go Blue to Tiger. She's like super popular. She's a bass player.
Oh, my bad.
Like I said, there's many, so this might not be the exact one, but they're all the same.
Okay.
So like super popular, played Halloween this year.
Oh wow.
Like all this kind of stuff. Can kind of play the bass. Kinda. I would take bass gigs over her if her statute was the same, like if we were just doing the same thing and it was a blind, you know, who's the bass player, I would take her gigs, and I'm a guitar player. It's like the whole
thing. I feel like people, since like Krungben has finally reached mainstream, I consider them mainstream now, because Krungben has been incredible their entirety. You know, they're incredible, but now that people are knowing them, and now I feel like there's this excitement of women playing the bass. Mm-hmm. It's sexy. Who doesn't want to see a chick, you know, grooving it's also a very fun instrument. But like, I don't know. It's just like stuff like that. It's like, and then you have an artist that's like seeing somebody just like,
Yeah,
just this little
totally, 'cause
bummy.
they've
Especially
put
Kevin. Kevin was pretty butthurt about it. He was like, oh, you know, he's like, why? He's
Yeah.
like, just don't play the guitar. And it's like, but that's why she is where she is.
she found
you
a
know?
market of people that
She found a
appreciate
market.
not so much that she's playing guitar, but that she's holding a guitar
It's
and
the
that
whole
she's
thing.
also, you know.
Yeah, it's the whole little.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love a band full of female instrumentalists. I mean, that would, like, now I'm getting away from my not so unpopular opinion to maybe another unpopular one. I'm like, can we get more women on the instruments, please? Like, where are the women in the industry, dude? I'm like, when I'm forming a band, it's all dudes. And I'm like, where are the chicks?
I'll say this, not to keep harping on it, but it is something I've noticed in bigger cities.
Yeah.
Like in LA, there was so many female bass players, drummers. I mean, and they were all like objectively killing it.
Really?
I mean, these were cats, dude. Like they were there, they were like playing jazz, funk, R&B, gospel, and they're like, I mean, crushing to the. I'm like, dude, who are the, like, where do you people come
Yeah.
from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
There's a girl I met. Her name is Maëlle. She's French. She's from France, and I met her at this music cabin up in the mountains in North Carolina. There's like this place where musicians gather, and it's called Snaggy Mountain. Anyways, she is an incredible bassist, and on top of it, she's just like an actual goddess woman and doesn't even like know it, kind of thing. And I'm like. I wish you didn't live in France so we could be in a band.
Yeah.
She's the grooviest chick, and I'm like, and so I'm like a little bit I'm a little bit deprived of seeing women like that. It's the same thing with surfing, like growing up and it's like being the only chick in the lineup always, like even sometimes in Del Rey. And then I went out to California, and I'll never forget before I paddled out, and this is when I wrote Pool Party too, by the way. Oh my God, all women in the lineup, all gussied up, even in the water. I was like,
Yeah.
what? I was like, this is what California is.
Yeah.
And so you're saying that. I'm like, okay, so it does exist.
It exists.
It is out there. I'm just in this little bubble.
Yeah.
Well, you're in the Southeast, and like
Yeah.
and I really do think this, like, the Southeast is historically the last to adopt anything.
Yeah.
And like, let's call it what it is. It's a little misogynistic, but like
Yeah.
the Southeast, women were housemakers, and like I feel like that culture is only now starting to break in this region, like
Yeah.
of where like obviously you can always do what you want to do, but it was such a cultural thing, and it was so kind of backwards, and I feel like that kind of stunted a lot of the artistic and creativity, because even before it was you can leave the house, it was you can get a job.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like chase your dreams or do anything, you know,
Right.
this and that. Like, you know, I don't know. It's now like there's some friends of mine that are down here that are playing, and they've gone to other cities and this and that, because there's, you know, maybe more of a culture of like the people they want to surround themselves by.
Yeah.
It's a shame, you
It's a
know, because
bummer.
I've gotten my ass kicked by many a woman over the years on the instruments, and it's just like, it's good for the community, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I don't know. Fuck the Southeast.
It's definitely tough. I've had a lot of frustration around, I feel like, a lot of the times as a female musician, and I didn't know if it was outside of the city or not, or just here or what, but I felt like I haven't really been taken seriously. And it's hard even as like a single woman in the music industry, and you're trying to like work with
I can imagine.
people, and there's no female instrumentalists in the city that I like that are freed up and available. It's
Yeah.
mainly men. And so it's like asking somebody to, not saying that anybody on my current team is this way, but like it's a thing. It's like you give people the wrong idea when it's the opposite sex. You're like, hey, like, want to be in my band? It's like, oh, she's into me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially with like, we're all musicians here. We can be a little egotistical, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
so it's this frustration of like not being taken seriously. And then in terms of lineups and stuff, like, oh, she's just going to make like pretty little girl sounds. Like, I feel like that's how I'm viewed, but Babe Honey is more than that. You know, we make more noise than that. And I feel like I keep getting these like early, soft, gentle sets. And I'm like, stop it.
Yeah,
I was
there,
gonna say, your streaming numbers show otherwise. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
and then it's like you can't put like all these people with like different like poor streaming numbers, no following,
no website.
and that's who I'm opening up for.
yeah.
Tell me why. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I know it's probably not intentional, but when that stuff keeps happening, I'm like, I gotta get out of here. Like, this is no place for a female lead in a band, you know? And maybe it's not the case, but it's a pattern I've noticed.
Yeah.
I'll say this, that so when I had my band, I noticed a similar thing, and not to equate like the obvious, but like I feel like when you're doing something, like there's a lot of stuff that works everywhere that doesn't work here.
Yeah.
The city is still like,
Yeah, it's like a genre.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's still stuck on like, Southern rock and
Dad
like,
rock bands.
yeah, all that stuff. And when you're trying to do something new and different, especially on like the modern social media platforms
Yeah.
and streaming and focusing on that side of it, I just don't think that it's like rewarded here in that way. There's almost a resistance to people that do those
It's
things.
interesting.
Have
It
you
does
noticed
feel like
that?
a resistance. And I'm like, I don't know. It's interesting for sure.
And then people feel like, oh, well, you're trying to do something else. You're going for like
Yeah.
the main, or you're like selling out or something. And so they want to hold on to like the people that are still like grinding out the bars and like playing the songs they've always heard, or like maybe they've written some songs that they know, and because it's the same fucking 50 people that go to see
Yeah.
see them. So it's just like, so then those are the people that get, platformed on the local festivals. And
Yeah, and they keep getting the same
The
headliner.
same 5 bands that play the same songs and the
Literally
same
it.
feeling. Like, it's even if they write new songs, it's the same feeling of just
But
like
as a consumer, like, does that really excite you? Like, which I'm having a hard time understanding. I want to understand it.
It does excite people because it's familiar, and this is not a place. I love you, Jacksonville, but we can all agree this is not a place of progress in that sense.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
It's not a place like Charleston per se where they thirst to hear new music and to experience a new artist. They're like, oh, a new thing, like
Right.
that I can cling on to and be excited about. It's like
right. And what does work? Sorry, because I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
but
you're good.
One final thought on it is like what does work. That when it's new and it does work, it's because they're doing the thing that's already established, right?
Yeah.
If there's a younger musician coming up that's just nailing the status quo, then they get excited about that person.
Right.
But when it's somebody that's like new and talented and doing something that they're not really like hip to,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I mean, they're good, but like, I want to hear some like Skinner. And you're like,
yeah.
and there's even folks like in our like jam band scene, kind of like that, they consider themselves like real music fans, and they're like, oh, we're not in that stigma of like other bands. They only go out and see their friends' bands too. Like there's no one's immune to it. Even the people that think they're live music supporters and this and that, just because you go see the same 5 bands
Right.
doesn't mean you're a progressive music listener. You know what I
No.
mean? Like, they have to accidentally stumble upon a new artist and see them
Yeah.
by mistake to go, oh wait, I actually like this. It's
Yeah.
like,
Well,
this
it's
has been
just-
here for years. You could have
it's
checked it out.
Frustrating when Babe Honey is sold out when I'm in charge of the show and I put the show on as a headliner, it's sold out. So that's why I'm like, put other people as a headline. Try it out.
yeah, definitely.
Because people go to the headline because that's the headliner. In the city, I feel like.
Yeah,
Maybe.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, so I do, like, I have had very successful shows as a headliner. I don't, so it's also that where I'm like, it's not like I don't have a draw.
right.
Yeah. You've
And
got
then
a
I've been
track
told, well, I
record.
put you earlier in the set because we want to bring people out earlier. And I'm like, that's not how that works.
I was gonna say, that's-
It's like, cool. Then are you going to pay me a headlining like
for bringing all these
for
people
bringing
out.
all these people out
Yeah.
early? Am I getting paid extra? Or are you going to
No.
pay me an opener like rate, which is barely which is barely what the bars are paying me,
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah. So I was just like, it got me in front of my computer to start wanting to book though.
Yeah.
It's a good thing in the end for me.
Yeah, right. It does
You know?
force you to like,
And, like,
if you're not happy with where you're at, it forces you to
Right.
find a place where you can,
Yeah.
So silver linings, I guess.
I'm still stoked about this city and stuff, but it's just like there's things like that where I'm like,
Yeah, little grievances that we all have.
yeah,
you
I'm
know?
like, damn.
And also I want to say that like these are generalizations that I'm saying. I think that we're all kind of saying as far as a consumer goes, there are people here that are interested in new exciting things, but just as a general rule, and then that's also not necessarily indicative of closed-minded people. It's just indicative of a small population of people that have, been here for a long time,
Yeah.
right? And there's not a lot of, like, when I was talking to a friend of mine a couple years ago, I was like, well, Jacksonville is one of the fastest growing cities in the country. It's like, yeah, but who's moving here? And I was like, dude, you're right. It's a lot of like blue collar stuff. And
Yeah.
it's, and it's fine, but it's just in bigger cities when you're talking about populations of 10 million people, it's like you can have 100,000 people that go and see the same 5 bands. That's okay. You'll have 100,000 more that will go support a different 5 bands, and 100,000 more will support a different 5 bands, and then you can have a real blossoming scene, which creates an infrastructure for upward mobility as far as funding and stuff goes. So, anyways, it's just it's hard in markets like this. It just is.
Yeah.
No,
it's tough. But I think that there's ways around it and just hope for a little bit of evolution, as time goes on. I'd love to see something change a little bit in the next 3 years, and a lot could.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that there is an uprising in bands here and musicians in general. I think there's definitely more recognition here now than there was 5 years ago.
Oh,
I
definitely.
think so too. Yeah.
You know?
I'm super excited about like this next crop of people that I've been meeting, like you and Brooke and Millie with Sunchild, and Tori Nance is amazing too, and like Star Caller and like the whole crew that you've been working with, like Time Wise, and my girlfriend's band Alchematic with Chris. Like there's a lot of stuff happening that's like percolating beneath the surface, so it's like also a little diversity in on the business side of things.
We just need to put on our own shows and lineups ourselves
Yeah.
outside of the main management team that's in the area, and I think it's like pulling together to like put on a different lineup and put on a different show than that has been provided in the past couple of years, where it's exactly the same, or past 3 years, whatever. We've done it at Voussoir, where we had a different lineup that was very different compared to the lineups that have been normally. And that was a very successful night. So I don't think that we'd have an issue doing that. I don't know. As a community, I think that we could definitely pull together and put on something like that again.
Yeah, definitely.
Just different headliners.
Yeah.
Keep
Like,
it
give it a
fresh.
chance.
Yeah, keep it alive.
Yeah, because those time slots matter,
Yep.
And it's not like other bands can't headline in this city, like that people know them, They just haven't had headline sets often.
Right.
Sometimes. I don't know.
Try putting those headliners on the bring people out slot, and then maybe people will come out, and then they'll see these cool new headliners.
Yeah.
What a fucking thought. You know what I mean? Guys,
Yeah.
I did it. I solved the
Yeah.
freaking problem.
Yeah, that does work. That works.
Well, that's what they're telling you works, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely like flipping it. Yeah. I agree with that.
I want to see it.
Yeah, I want to see it too. We can do it. It's not hard. You just book a date. We add people to the lineup.
Yeah.
We stick with it.
Yeah.
No flakers.
Yeah. No.
And if you cancel for a Jags game, we're gonna kick your ass.
Yeah.
On that note, Desi, thank you for being with us today. This was a lot of
you.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is awesome.
Yeah, I love you guys.
Yeah, man, likewise.
Yeah, same. This is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching and hanging out with us. And where can they find your music and all your social media stuff?
All music platforms, website and Instagram is Babe Honey Music. And yeah, I'm on all music platforms as well. And there are 2 singles out. Thank You, Dean was just dropped recently. And I'm excited to share some more with you in the next coming months.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks again, and enjoy the episode. You've already watched the episode. So used to doing these introductions. Anyways, peace out.